What's good, everybody? You got your usual suspects, Mars and Ticket in here. Alliance I did not even see coming, but as to each his own, man. Ticket, how you feel about yesterday, man?
I'm sure I ever waste my time ever again, man. I told y'all I didn't want to be a part of that stuff, man. I don't waste my time, man. It's a waste of time, bro. Unless y'all got a real heavy hitter in here, that's a real challenge. It's a waste of time, bro. That whole stuff ain't nothing but for clout chasing and for promotional purposes only. To be able to go back and make 100 videos and build a whole channel around me. And I'm not with that. You know what I'm saying? I only came in yesterday because everybody kept hitting me, talking about, oh, where you at? You want? I told them, dude, I didn't want to be a part of that from the beginning because I don't rock with that dude. And I just said, I'm be honest with you, I don't. I tried to give it a shot. I don't respect that type of stuff, bro. Everybody keep hitting me and stuff, talking about, oh man, you ducking this, that, and the third, you leaving your brothers hanging, all this other stuff. For as much stuff as they talk about me here on PC.
What's good?
Yeah.
Game 7 ticket. You pulled up clutch there, Ticket. Game 7 ticket. I saw that. But you know, Mars gave y'all the lead. He went 3-0, gave y'all a quick lead.
Mars didn't go 3-0.
I swear it was 3. Am I tripping? It was 2-1 though.
No,
He lost
Mars didn't go 3-0.
I swear no. First time he went 3-0. The first round. I swear I just seen it like last.
Mars, did you go 3-0?
The first round he went 3-0. Yeah, 3-0 first time. Yeah, went 3-0.
You really celebrating this, man?
You really thought I was gonna lose a round? Okay, though.
My bad. I wasn't paying attention.
I agree, Jalen. I agree with Mars' tone. Like, bro, those are scrubs, man. Come on.
Expected. I hear you.
Scrubs, bro. Like, it's better for me. It's better competition over here every day. Going at Chill, going at Mars, going at, you know, whenever Low decides, you know, that he's done at Fat Burger, he'll come over here and chop it up. Going at Low, going at that hater Damo, going at Mars. You be hating too, Mars. I'm gonna get your ass for that too. You a hater too. Going at you know, just going at Dub. All these dudes, man. It's better competition, bro. Stuff is easy, bro. It's like
Lamar pulled that audible because he had no faith in his teammates. He won a couple. He do this. He had to try to take it down.
That wasn't true. He didn't do that. He didn't do that.
I thought he had no faith.
He didn't pull no audible. What happened? The truth about what happened is that I had over 100 messages on Instagram and on my messenger of people asking me where I was at. Say I was ducking. These are the same people that come here every day, say I ruined the show. I'm trash. I don't know anything about basketball. But then when it's a debate style like that, and they get scared or they get a little in fear, they ask where am I at? Either you want me or you don't want me around. If you don't want me around, I have no problem walking away. But you know what I'm saying? Don't do that fake stuff when, you know, I've been hot before PC. I was the big fish in this basketball stuff before PC. And so, like I said, man, I love coming over here chopping up with y'all. That's why I come over. You know, I mean, it gets heated. People might not like it, but I can do it anyway. And it always proves it. Whenever we do those style of debates where you can't cream over dudes and cut dudes off and all that other stuff, bro, I'm still going to cook you because I'm that great. You know, guys like Lamont, I should say Lamont, what he do is he do all of this stuff for promotion, bro. And then as I told you, he'll go cry about it after he lost. He made the rules yesterday when I stepped in. That is really what he wanted. So the truth was, Jalen, is that all these people was hitting me up because I had already told Ron days ago I didn't want to do it. He asked me what I want to do. I said, hell no. Jack asked me what I want to do. I said, hell no. Leave me alone. I got stuff I'm doing. I got my family and stuff. I didn't want to do it. I had 100 messages on Instagram telling me I'm a coward, I'm ducking, and I'm leaving y'all hanging. The same shit they tried to pull with me PC weekend. So I said, you know what? F it. I'm watching the show. I'm watching Damo cook. I watched Damo get cheated. I said, well, cool. I seen Mars cook, and I seen him had to bring Mars off the pot. I was like, damn. I seen Dub cook and get robbed against Hearn, right? Fake ass Ludacris running around here looking mofo, right? Yeah. Then I seen Lamont, who looked completely clueless in the first debate, and this should have been a wipeout because he didn't know anything about Sidney Moncrief. He's up here, all this,
he was no point guard. Sidney Moncrief's not a point guard.
All this browbeating he doing everybody else on YouTube, on his little network where he buys all the views and subscribers, right? He does all this barking down on everybody else for not knowing, not going into detail and all this other stuff. You come to a debate and you don't know anything about Sidney Moncrief. So I'm thinking, oh, this is over with, man. That dude's wasting my time, man. I turned it off. But then somebody else came and hit me and said that he beat Grilltown. I said, what? So I came back and looked, and I said, this man don't beat Grilltown. He beat
Low.
Somebody else. He beat Low. And then Damo made me mad. I was like, Damo, bro. And like I said, I tell y'all I hate Damo. I don't really hate Damo. I just hate some of the shit he be doing, but I rock with Damo. I say, Damo, don't ever tell these fools that you ain't prepared.
Why Damo get the
meanest streak? Fake it till you make it, bro. Fake that till you make it. Don't be like, no, I won't prepare. Man, stand on whatever your history is. Stand on that, bro. Stand on that. When Damo said that, that's what made me mad, Jalen. And that's when I hit up Ron and Shaq. Was like, yo, man, send me the link, man. I'm finna come in here and take care of this clown. Because I know what he really wanted. That's why when I came in, that's why he said, and Dub and pointed this out, Damo pointed this out after he said, make it all or nothing, because he didn't have confidence in them bums he was running with, because y'all was already up. Y'all was still up. Mm-hmm. He didn't have confidence in them bums he was running with that they was going to come back and win, because remember, it was 3 and out. Because if it wasn't 3 and out and they was being real, Damo or Mars would have ran them dudes off the court, and you wouldn't even got to see Chilltown alone. That's the truth. That's the absolute truth. So when he did that, Dub, when he said all or nothing, he did that because he wanted to act like he was gonna cook me. This is the type of stuff he pull all the time, telling Ron and telling all these dudes, oh man, you got a ticket over there, man. You dumbing down the show, even though the show has gotten bigger since we've been on here from episode 1. The show has blown up. It's the biggest show on YouTube, biggest basketball show on YouTube. These is facts. You understand what I'm saying?
Talk about it.
We all doing this together. We all building this together, right? But the hate in his heart, because he ain't got nothing to do with it. He want to find a way to weasel his way on in here, so he make it seem like with me, it's just all, you understand what I'm saying, smoke and mirrors. But when he got his ass in that arena, and I barbecued that bastard, now he looks stupid, because now all them dudes that he been lying about building his channel around hating me on got embarrassed. He put it all on the line. Nobody forced him to do that. He said that. And then when we talk about the topic, they say, oh, ticket only won because of the topic. No, I asked that bum. I said, do you agree on that topic? Do you agree on the topic? He said, yes. So when he said, yeah, we agree on the topic, and then he stood on his answer. He didn't say, oh, yeah, well, I agree. I picked Morey and Jokic too. No, he really thought KD and Booker was a better duo. So when I cooked his ass, take your ass whooping and leave me the hell alone. That's it. I waste my time with these bums, man. Next time that dude come around, man, don't y'all call me waste my time with these bumps. Call me when y'all got real work around here, man. Real work, man. Because the truth is, Damo got robbed. Straight robbed. That was disgusting what they did to Damo. Mars should have never been pulled off the pot. Mars was cooking 100 hot. He should have kept going. Chilltown, I couldn't believe Chilltown just didn't wipe his ass off the map. Low should have won, but the crowd was going against Low because, you know, they all hate Kwame Brown anyways. And Dub, that was just disgusting what happened. So like I said before, man, this would have been a complete wipeout had the truth been told. Like I said, so Jalen, it wasn't because I came in there and did something special. Kicking Lamont ass is not something special. I did that every single day for almost 3 or 4 years before y'all even know me on this channel. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is, bro. Much love to PC, man. Much love to all the viewers, man. Like I said, man, we're going to keep going strong. We don't have to cloud chase nobody in order to build our network. We're going to do what we do, man. You know what I'm saying? And have fun doing it, man. And I salute everybody in this chat room, because everybody in this chat on this panel held their end of the bargain down. It was just how the voters was voting. Sometimes it wasn't cool, but I didn't think anybody, except for that one thing Damo did when he said, yo, I don't believe in my man. No, stand on that. That's it.
I hear that.
Does anyone has anything else to say?
I just don't like how the fact the niggas did as the first little shit they had us do, which I messed up the scheduling because they was on Pacific time and I did not realize it because I'd be high. I wasn't even reading for real. So I thought it was Eastern time. So I had messed up my scheduling and all the niggas was screaming that I was ducking. And I'm like, I have nothing to duck. Like, what are you talking about? I'm ducking. So I'm going in there thinking like niggas is real heavyweights. These are cruiserweights out there, bro. Buddy said, give me the best. Buddy said, give me the best 6'4" guard. Oh yeah, Dwayne Wade. Yeah, get me out of here, Ron. Like, what is this?
Shout out SB, man. Shout out SB. I think he knew.
And then on top of that, after the stream, I go look. I seen people put a link in there. I'm thinking it's Ticket link. I'm thinking Ticket about to talk some shit. It's they shit. I go in there. These niggas in there crying about Sidney Moncrief. Yo, they don't really know about Sidney Moncrief. Nigga, when was he a point guard? I'm sorry.
He was a shooting guard for his whole career.
He was a shooting guard. Literally, I looked it up like right after the debate because I'm like, maybe I'm bugging. Bro, he played shooting guard except 3 years of his career, and it was the exact opposite for Drew Holiday. I'm sorry that we're in a debate show and I don't even have to debate for real because all I have to do is just prove y'all argument. Like, it's different styles of debating. Niggas is mad I didn't want to make a full debate about Drew Holiday for Sidney Moncrief. Nigga, I just got to show y'all debate. Sidney Moncrief ain't a shooting guard. I could have put Brevin Knight, nigga, and I would have won because you ain't put no shooting guard. If you ain't put a point guard, it's that easy.
He asked that man, and this is where they cheated Damo, and this is why I hate it when they cheated Damo. They asked that man who the greatest Laker was all time. This man said Jerry West, a dude that lost all those NBA finals. Damo gave you an answer of a dude who's world renowned, probably is the second greatest player to ever play basketball. So if you're the second greatest player to ever play basketball, and the majority of your career is played with the Los Angeles Lakers, what the hell is we talking about? Like, I don't understand how you using Jerry West, his executive career, bringing that and you win that argument.
I would like to say, Domino, that was a very interesting take. But though I think the way you could have counteracted that, which you didn't see, well, now like Pat Riley's probably like a top 5, top 3 Heat of all time. Phil Jackson is like a top 3, top 5 Bull. Jerry Krause. But nobody here says that. No one says that.
No one says that. My whole thing is, if we're talking, I'm assuming we're talking about winning. And that's the point. I felt like that was a strong enough point to attack. Is the point of, okay, we're talking about Lakers, the most winning, tied for the most winning franchise in NBA history. Why are we not going to, I felt sticking to winning would have been fine enough. There's no reason why out of all the Lakers, you're going to pick a guy that lost the most out of all the winning guys and want to throw in, oh yeah, player and executive. I'm like, it was smart. It's definitely a smart tactic. I get it, and the argument was solid. That's why I wasn't complaining. Like, I wasn't really complaining when I lost. I got it. His argument was better than my argument. Yeah. Like, he made a case. His making a case was better than mine. But at the end of the day, we're talking about winners, and we're talking about. I felt everyone understood this as players. There's no way you're putting Jerry West above Kareem. But hey, I digress. I'm not even upset because running off 2-0 at the start, I ain't gonna hold you, gang. That was already doing more than that was already more than I expected. I was like, yo, these niggas gotta really be like that. They were.
I thought I put up a really good argument because I started with the triangle, and I started with the triangle and how it revolutionized the game. His counter to the triangle was the 7 seconds or less, and his stance on the 7 seconds or less was guys buying in. I countered that with, well, how can you say that when the leading scorer who was all about scoring bought into the triangle and it led to winning? The 7 seconds or less offense did not lead to winning. I thought I put up a damn good fight.
Two of the greatest players that ever played basketball bought into it. That were known. And then what I did, Ticket, was I compounded that. What he took it over to when they were disgruntled in Los Angeles with Shaq and Kobe when they were getting swept out of the playoffs, and then he took it to them, and then they bought into it and they won with it. And right, I was surprised he got you when he tried to lie and say this is where he got you. He lied and said, "Oh well, guys in this era didn't want to buy into that." He made it seem like Steve Kerr is running Mike D'Antoni's offense, which was complete BS. That's where he lied and convinced everybody that he was right. That was a complete lie. Steve Kerr is running more of Phil Jackson's triangle offense with all of the movement, backdoor cuts, and all, because the D'Antoni offense is 7 seconds or less offense. Golden State coming out jacking up threes.
One pass and shoot. That's it. One pass and shoot. He uses Draymond Green like Phil Jackson used Scottie Pippen in the triangle. That's how he used Draymond Green.
Facts, bro. And they won championships. And they won a championship. Wait, chill. They won championships with that style of play. Remember, KD even mentioned, yo, I don't like just coming down, just jacking up shots. When he left OKC, he said he wanted to go play for Golden State because he liked how they played. So, and they played different than just coming down, gunning up and jacking up shots, which is why it got you nowhere with the Suns. It got you nowhere with the Knicks, and it got you nowhere with the Lakers.
What I do know is when you got in the ring, he thought he was going to fry you. That's why he said sudden death. That's why he said sudden death.
And he didn't believe his teammates. He didn't believe in his teammates. He's like, I got to try to win this.
It wasn't that. It wasn't that.
No, it wasn't that, Jalen. He wanted Ticket because he thought he was going to fry Ticket, which is why I said immediately in the huddle, I was like, oh, draw it up for Ticket. Because this dude for real think he for real think he about to smash Ticket. Draw it up for Ticket. Ticket about to put this dude in the chokehold and take him out. And we're gonna end this thing right here. End it. And he did.
And then they wanted a rerun. They wanted a rerun. We're like, no.
Yeah, that rerun was crazy.
We was down to go the whole time. There's like sudden death. Y'all got it, bro. We went to Ticket went to y'all house. See, this is how y'all know. The Ticket went to y'all house, destroyed. Ticket at all.
We all did. No, Dub, not this Ticket. We all did. We all did. We all went over there and served them. And then now Ticket, now they come over to our house and he calls Ticket out in front of everybody, and we'll end it right here, me and Ticket. And Ticket dumped them. And now, well, wait a minute, I got cheated. Which one is it, my man?
He did not get cheated. Everyone was
Mars never came off the pot. If Mars never came off the pot, that's the only rule I don't like, is that if you win 3, you got to come off. Mars would have ran the table on them dudes. Like, once you get hot, the base style like that, bro, you ain't coming off once you get. And listen, Mars and you guys, we had such a great, the way that we lined it up, we had such great thinkers. Damo, if he wouldn't have lost, if he wouldn't have got cheated, he wouldn't have came off the pot. They would have just ran the table because we got quick thinkers, or we got dudes. And that's the thing, like in a debate format like that, you got to be a quick thinker. That's why I was like, yo, these niggas trash. When I seen his answer on Sidney Moncrief and he couldn't give no explanation into why he picked Sidney Moncrief, he just said Sidney Moncrief. I was like, yo, this man, like, he really don't know basketball like that. Like, bro, you got to, that's why I be telling y'all all the time. When me and Chilltown and Mars and all them dudes be up here, I talk all that shit to Mars. You can bring any topic up right now in basketball with me and Mars. Mars will look at himself. He'll look at the camera and think for like 3 or 4 seconds and boom, have an answer. That's basketball knowledge. If he don't know something, he'll say, oh, well, let me check it. You understand what I'm saying? That's what I like about debating these cats, man, to be honest with you, bro. When you don't know nothing, when you ties everybody, talking about we don't know, we don't go into detail and all this other stuff, but then you get in that type of debate style where you really have to know basketball because you don't know the questions. And you just have to come up off the – and going first is the hardest. Because if you go first, you don't have as much time to think. You got to just, boom, get your answer. And then the dude who comes behind you, he got a chance to counteract everything you say in the first round and then in the second round. Because y'all did it backwards yesterday. Y'all made it so that the rebuttal, the person who went second also went second in the second round and had the last word. So that gives that person an advantage because you get the last say what everybody hears. And so we were still kicking their ass when our guys were going first in most of those debates, man. Like I said, man, bro,
we gotta always. So do we have to do this again? So Dub, do we have to do this again with these dudes? Because we will if we have to.
He said we want a bubble. Called it a bubble ring now. He said it's a bubble ring. That's what he said.
Why would we not? No, don't get me wrong. Like, of course, like them being on shows, like that's always gonna be a thing. Right. But like doing an event, why we won twice, and why is it like?
Served them, by the way, Dub. Not just one. Served them.
So why would we do it again if the thing that they'll do after they lost is just like call it a bubble ring and complain after every single time? It's like, what are we doing?
That's some sucker shit.
That's why you know what? That's weak. Yeah. After seeing that, I was like, dang, bro. Now I know how everyone felt when I was sitting here complaining about Floyd, and I'm like, yeah, I'm never doing that again. That's crazy. That I see what y'all was thinking now. I'm like, oh nah, like that's bad. That's
and I ain't get and Mars and Low, we didn't get to go again. So if we got to go again, it wouldn't have just been like Ticket came in because again they went on a run. That's all they did. We still was winning. They just went on a run. And dude showed up and said, "All right, well, Ticket is here. I'm gonna end this right now." I'm gonna end this right now. Ticket is here. He thought he was going to barbecue Ticket and just straight take us out. That's what he thought was gonna happen. Which is why I said right from the beginning, Ticket, you didn't hear me stutter. I was like, end it right here. We running with Ticket. End it.
You already knew what I was going to. It didn't matter what the topic. I didn't care what the topic was. And to me, everybody got to understand it. I heard somebody in the chat room saying Ticket picked a better answer. Bro, it don't matter what the answer is, man. Like, for example, if me and Chilltown, if they say, or me and Mars, we got to debate something, bro, this is why I love these dudes. Even though I hate these motherfuckers sometimes, this is why I love these dudes. Like, bro, you got to be skilled to be able. No, I'm serious. You got to be skilled to be able to take something and to be able to debate it and make people believe that shit. Like, if me and Mars had a debate right now between Steph Curry and Ray Allen, and you told Mars to pick Ray Allen over Steph Curry, Mars will make a debate for Ray Allen that's believable. Like, he'll sit up here having people saying, well, damn, man. And I would have to make a debate for Steph Curry that's believable. But that's what happens when you're debating. It's not always what's the right pick. It's who is the best debater, who gets their point across the best, who makes the best points, who acknowledges the better things within the points. So to say Devin Booker and KD, to say that LeBron's answer was great, that was the worst answer he could have given, because they got mauled by Morey and Jokic.
He stood on that. He stood on that too. And when you ended the debate when you brought up what happened in the playoffs when they played against Denver. You ended it right there. We're done. We don't have to do no more of this.
No. It was what they did against the Clippers. When he brought that up, I was like, I said it's over. He said they were struggling against the Clippers without PG and Kawhi. I'm like, yo, I said it's over. That was crazy.
When you said they got mauled by Denver, I was like, we're done here. There's no reason to keep talking. We're done. After everything that even though they did get past the Clippers, even though Leonard and Paul George didn't play and they struggled against them. They went up against the duo that Ticket brought up was the better duo, and they got smoked by them. By the way, I think they lost by.
Hold on. Why is H30 talking about he want Mars 1-on-1? Hey, bro, H30. Hey, listen, you're good. You probably one of the better debaters over there, because you getting off that Jerry West one. That was. I don't know how you pulled that off. But bro, why everybody just think they want to smoke with Mars, bro? I don't understand that, bro.
I knew it was over the moment I heard who he picked. Like, at first, it was like Jokic and Jamal Murray. I was like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it could be. I feel like it's a better duo. That man said KD and Book. I said, oh yeah, all right. Chill made a good decision. Chill said give it to Marshawn Lynch. And you know what? He was right.
We're on the goal line.
I had to come back, Damo. I know what you would have said, though, Damo. I had a comeback for that. You would have said LeBron and AD. And I had a comeback for that already. I had a comeback set up for that. And my comeback to Lamar, I was thinking that he was going to say LeBron and AD. And I was going to annihilate his ass because he was going to talk about how they beat them in the bubble. And I was going to say, hey, man, well, look, I was going to destroy that whole bubble logic and then talk about how they annihilated them this year and swept them. That was going to kill that whole LeBron and AD argument.
Honestly, I thought he was going to go with Nightwing and Robin. That's really what I thought he was going to do.
I already had it in my mind. That's like Damo would have said LeBron and AD. And that's what I thought. I thought Lamont was going to say that. I thought he was going to say LeBron and AD, and I was going to just demolish his ass with how they swept them dudes. And the duo of Murray and Jokic annihilated them cats. I already had a whole line set up for that. I thought he was going with LeBron. When he went with KD and Book, the way that Book was carrying KD, man, I said, oh, this is easy, bro. I said, this dude right here is trash, man. Y'all don't ever bother me about them dudes again, man.
That was a weak pick by Lamar for sure, that duo.
Got you. Damo, you were saying something before we continue?
Oh, no, I'm good. Listen, it was fun. Is what it is. I don't like how, I don't like the recency bias. It's crazy. I rolled off 2 straight. Everybody was on my side. I go out there and immediately I was like, yeah, I ain't gonna lie, I cooked that one. I wasn't prepared for it. Yeah, get this nigga Damo for PC. This is crazy. He's out here selling. I'm like, whoa. Y'all was on my side. Wait a minute. We got scoreless niggas over here. What are we?
That's what happens.
No disrespect to anybody that didn't score. I'm just saying, damn, can we get to the scoreless? Can the scoreless niggas be kicked out first? I got points on the board. What are we doing? Other than that, it was all fun though. All love. Hey, FYF, outside of y'all getting smoked by Ticket, shit was cool. Y'all some cool ass dudes. Now, I don't know what y'all people for ticket. Whatever y'all did for ticket, hey, that's tough. Hey, whatever smoke y'all got for ticket, hey, that's him. That's crazy. I don't know what to tell you.
They shouldn't have no more smoke for him. They really should.
H30 done in the chat room saying I'll duck him. Like, bro, I'll cook you too, man. I mean, I studied you yesterday, bro. You ain't nothing special. You should have lost. You gave a perennial loser. You gave one of the biggest losers in Laker history. You gave the name of a dude. Yes, he's responsible for some of those wins as an executive. But remember the year that Jerry West was out of there. The Lakers still was winning chips after Jerry West was gone, sir. So unless you still counting him for chips that Kobe and Powell won when he wasn't even there no more, he was over in Memphis at that time, I believe.
Well, he also misinformed too, Ticket. He also misinformed because the logic that he gave to you, Damo, when he talked about getting Pau Gasol to the Los Angeles Lakers and he was the general manager. Well, that's not true. He wasn't. He was already gone by that time. Chris Wallace was the manager and the general manager in Memphis, and he was the one who called him up. So that was Jerry West was already gone when they made that trade.
Even if I would have called him out on being wrong on Pau Gasol, he already won over public opinion, and I guess he would have won over the judges just by bringing it up. Oh, he won a chip, and he got Shaq and Kobe there. That was the thing that I was like, all right, he's just gonna try to win everybody over with that. When you win one chip out of 9, which again, I'm calling him a loser. And how can you call him a loser? I mean, 1 for 8. That looks like a loser. I don't know.
I'm not gonna lie.
All you had to hit him with, hold on 1 second, Dub. All you had to hit him. If you gonna say that, Damo, think about this. Well, then how many championships did that equivalent for him getting Shaq and Kobe there together? 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then all you had to say was this. Nigga, Kareem responsible for 5 chips in LA. So sit your punk ass down, nigga. Kareem got 5 chips in LA. So sit down and shut the hell up. So he's responsible for more. He really is responsible for more winning in LA. Because even if you took Kobe and Shaq's 3 plus Jerry West's 1, that's only 4.
Kobe won 2 more without.
No. He's talking about the Kobe and Shaq duo.
Oh, just the Kobe and Shaq duo, not even.
The Kobe and Shaq duo.
So I talked to the judges, and for that debate right there, he won that off of just nobody ever thought about it like that. So it's kind of like a new thing. So it was like he got praised for that.
Creativity.
And I told him, I was like, bro, even though it was creative, I'm like he didn't win that debate, but to each his own, bro. We're gonna get some members and we're gonna get some super chats and talk about some James Harden drama and show us what we've been saying about James Harden, bro. He's crazy.
Well, it's not surprising, but it's business at the end of the day. And when you put your personal feelings and your personal relationship ahead of business, more times than not, it's going to go the other way. This deal that James Harden took, where he took less money, this was personal. And the reason why it was personal was because he worked with Daryl Morey in Houston for years. And with him working with Daryl Morey in Houston for years, Daryl Morey was not responsible. James Harden was responsible for his play. And Daryl Morey came through and got him contract extensions and got him paid. So with that being said, he now moves over to Philadelphia with Daryl Morey, who's come through for him in the past and is going to come through for him again. I'm confident that they had a conversation where Daryl Morey told James, you take this less, and then I'm going to get you on the back end. The problem is Daryl Morey kept it business because he looked at James Harden's performances in the postseason and looked at what it was going to cost in terms of this contract extension and said, I can't justify this. I'm not going to be able to justify this. And because I can't justify this.
That's not that one part you said. Everything else is true. What is false is this. He saved his own ass. It wasn't him. He still wanted to pay James Harden. It was the ownership that said, oh, hell no, we ain't cracking out that money for no James Harden. Hey, we ain't paying him. I don't care what you're going to go back and tell him he ain't getting that money. It wasn't Daryl Morey. Daryl Morey was willing to sacrifice it all and pay it off for James Harden. Their whole plan was to get Mike D'Antoni over there. Their whole plan was to get Doc Rivers out, get Mike D'Antoni in, recreate a Houston Rockets situation over there, and eventually move on from and off of Joel Embiid. This is why James Harden came out. I told you guys this almost a year and a half ago on my channel. This is why James Harden came out and said, I want a bigger role in the team. What do you mean you want a bigger role? Joel Embiid's the big fish on the team. What do you mean? The only bigger role you can have is one that's bigger than Joel Embiid. That ain't gonna happen. Right. So then you're looking at that situation. They got Doc Rivers out, didn't get Mike D'Antoni, And then Daryl Morey, he goes to the ownership. Remember, he has to go to the owners to get that approved to pay that boy that money because it's the owner's money. This ain't Daryl Morey's money. So Daryl Morey, he wanted to pay James Harden. That's his money. But he couldn't do it. So James is calling him a liar because Daryl told him, I'm going to take care of you. We good. You know what I'm saying? Just come out here and do what you do.
That's what I was getting to.
But he goes to the ownership, and the ownership like, hell no, we have to pay him the max. You out your damn mind. You better go back and tell him, or it's your job.
Ticket, before y'all continue, and you talked about James Harden calling him a liar, I do want to show everybody in the building who haven't seen it already just a small clip of what we're talking about, what James Harden did. So here we go.
Daryl Morey is a liar, and I will never be a part of an organization that he's a part of. Let me say that again. Daryl Morey is a liar, and I will never be a part of an organization that he's a part of. Thank you, man.
Was that a basketball camp?
Yeah, it was in China.
That's extra personal. He did it on purpose. I'm gonna tell you why he did that. And James Harden is very smart. He a very shrewd operator. And listen, James Harden has proven to me that he is one of the shrewdest operators in the history of basketball as far as doing what he wants to do. Like if he don't like something, he want to get moved. James Harden is the dictionary on how to push buttons to get out of somewhere. Remember, Daryl Morey sparked up this whole beef with the China situation a few years ago, and China had stopped wanting to rock with the United States NBA basketball. So they had tensions between them and the States as far as the basketball relations. Remember, NBA players and guys were losing sponsorships and endorsements going over there because of that stuff Daryl Morey has said, and that led to Daryl Morey being out of Houston. And so they stopped rocking with Houston. Remember, China had stopped messing with Houston for a while based off of that. James Harden, slick ass, waits to go over there to disrespect and to call out Daryl Morey, to put more heat on him and to reopen those wounds that was there before. So now him doing that over there makes this an international thing again, because all in the Chinese news is going to look like Daryl Morey is a scumbag who turned his back on James Harden, a guy who's a big figure overseas in China and Hong Kong and these other places. So now you're going to have a situation to us where James Harden, he know what he's doing, man. He's put extra heat on Daryl Morey. And I'm going to tell y'all something, man. Daryl Morey's proven to me he's a dirty player. He will fight back. He proved to me that in the Ben Simmons situation. And I think that you guys are going to start hearing some of this stuff about James Harden that you never was going to hear. I think stories about James Harden come out that's going to kill and destroy his character even further than what you guys already know. And if Doug puts that picture back up, James Harden look out of shape in that picture.
Oh, you already know what time it is with him. We already that goes without question, Ticket. We already know that the fat suit is coming out. If he's not moved by the time he get to Philadelphia, we already know that the fat suit is coming out. But listening to James Harden's comments, that's definitely personal. Daryl Morey told him 100% that I got you covered. We're going to do this exactly how we've been doing it in the past. You take this less money, and I'm going to take care of you in the back end. I'm going to make sure that this happens for you, James. I got you. Even though he underperformed in the playoffs, Daryl Morey still was looking at this going, yo, I got you. But when he goes to management, they telling him, well, yo, we can't pay him. Well, maybe Daryl Morey is looking at that going, maybe you might be right. I don't know if we can do that. That's why he went to James he went to James like, yo, I don't know if I could get you paid now. Even though he did tell him that in the beginning. I can't justify this.
Wait. That's the lie is better. Hold on. The lie is but wait. That's part of the lie. This is why James is really mad. Forget just that, right? It's not just that. Here's the other part of it. So Daryl lies to James, and this is the shit that really got James mad. I heard about this last night. He lies to him and tells him to opt in to his deal, and he'll trade him to the Clippers when he had no intention on trading this guy. He was going to force him to stay because the Clippers aren't willing to give up no big fish to get James Harden. The Clippers were only going to give up guppies. They were only going to give up bench players and dudes.
We already know that though, Ticket.
Right? No. But you're not hearing. The only reason James Harden opted into that deal is because Daryl Morey told him he was going to do that deal for him and get him gone. Right. So he thought that the deal was done. He would have never opted into his contract, because what that does is that would have destroyed Philly, because now Philly would have lost Ben Simmons, who Brooklyn won that deal now, Damo Mars. They won the deal because Ben Simmons is going to be starting for Brooklyn next year, and they're on the up and up. They look like they got a bright future ahead of them. Meanwhile, Philly bet everything on James Harden. They would have lost James Harden if he would have opted out. You wouldn't have got nothing in return for him because he'd have left for nothing. Then you would have had to figure out, okay, well, Maxi's going to step up. Tobias going to step up, which I think there would be a better team without James Harden if they just focus on themselves. But you still don't want to lose an asset like that and not get nothing in return for it when you gave up so much to get the dude when you made the trade to Brooklyn. So for me,
plus
bro,
we got to remember
the lie came in when they didn't. The other lie came in is when he did. Then when he opted in, because James never would have opted into 1 year. Because now he has to play for his career, right?
Well,
he has to play for his career, chill. So now if and think about this risk James is taking. If Daryl has the nuts that he had with Ben Simmons and doesn't move him and forces him to miss games and then fines him, bro, you know how ugly this is gonna get, because this is James Harden's last year of his deal. So now other teams
no. Take it. Stop right there. Take it. Say what you was about to say. This is last what? This ain't the last year of his deal. This is last what? You was about to say it, Ticket.
Oh, well, this is his last big contract.
There you go. Yes, that's right.
Yeah,
Ticket.
so
Yes.
If he don't, he taking a big risk right here, because other teams looking at this like, this dude don't force some stuff out of 3-4 teams. Like, who's gonna pay him now the money he want going forward? Like, he ain't gonna take Russ money that Russ is taking now going forward. But that's the only money that's gonna be like, I don't see no team out here that's worth a ilk that's gonna pay him. You know, bro, he's in trouble, bro.
Remember where we are. We're in the same space in the summer of 2023 that we were in the summer of 2021. We're in the same spot. We got bounced in the semifinals. We got guys underperforming in the playoffs, even though Ben Simmons was really good, but he still was going this way until he got ran out of Philadelphia. So in the process of that, we got James Harden, who's much older. We got Joel Embiid, who needs to perform better in the playoffs. You got you promising James Harden that you're going to pay him or you're going to get him paid, when in reality, there's no way that you're going to get him paid. And now you got to go back to James Harden and renege on the deal that you originally had for him. Now James Harden is in his feelings when it could have stayed business. But I understand I understand his position, because he's been with Daryl Morey for all of these years. And him and Daryl Morey have a great relationship. They got a great, not just business relationship, but a great personal relationship. But to now go back to James and tell him what I promised you, I can't do that now, because this is what it looks like. This is what the numbers look like. This is what they're telling me. Well, wait a minute. This is what you told me in the beginning. You told me you were going to get me paid like you did in the past. So you lied to me. And now we no longer, that personal relationship we have, it's fractured in addition to the business relationship that we have.
Look, I think James Harden, hold on. I think James Harden has every right to be upset, like you said. So let's go with the details of the deal. So in 2022, he declined a player option for $47 million. And he signed a 2-year, 68. So that comes up to $34.4 million. So he gave up $13 million that 1 year so Philly could sign those guys. So if I have a business transaction, let's say with Dub, whoever, we have a business. No, he did. He gave up $13 million, right? And then he knew he was going to opt out of that second year of the deal and get that 4 years. He had the option to go for 4 years, 210 as his max. So
there's no way they were paying him $160 million.
But he made a handshake deal, man to man with Daryl Morey. He knew he'd be taking care of the background, and to renege on that deal, I understand it's business.
No, Jalen, that's wrong, bro. Jalen, that's wrong. I'm gonna tell you why you're wrong, bro. Jalen, you're wrong because of this. He knew he wasn't getting the max extension he wanted then. So he made it seem like, yo, I'm gonna take a pay cut to make the team better. That's BS. You took a pay cut because you wanted your buddies over there. You wanted to get PJ Tucker and them guys over there. That's why you fake like you was taking a pay cut. You wasn't. You wanted PJ Tucker.
That helped the team though.
So they gave PJ Tucker the $33 million three-year deal. You wanted the house over there. All them dudes you played with in Houston. He did all this. How is this Daryl Morey fault? When then you go to the playoffs, the least you can do is perform at the highest level, and you laid an egg in the closeout game. I'm not defending James Harden's play. I understand hold on, Jalen. You then can't be upset with Daryl Morey when he goes to the ownership and tells the ownership, all right, it's time for us to pay. Okay, we're going to fire Doc. Okay, Doc fired. Boom, he's out of here. James don't like Doc. Doc's fired. Okay, now it's time. Let's pay James. Oh, no, we ain't paying him. After what we just saw, we're not giving him that money. You going over there and tell him we're not paying him that deal. Okay, boom. He goes and tells James that because that's what the ownership wants. He can't control that. So James says, okay, well, F it. I'll opt in if you trade me to the Clippers. Because if not, I'll just leave as an unrestricted free agent. You lose me for nothing. Daryl Morey says, okay, cool, no problem. opt in, I'll trade you to the Clippers. He opts in, Daryl Morey doesn't trade him to the Clippers. James Harden come out and say this dude's a straight liar. That's what happened.
Of course. And of course you got to do that too, Ticket, because what I can't do is I can't lose him for nothing. I can't do that. I got to get him to opt in. And maybe there was some deception in there where he tells James Harden, okay, I'm going to move you to the Clippers. But in reality, I can't lose him for nothing. I can't let him just walk out the front door and just get nothing for him. So in reality, I'm going to say, okay, we'll opt in and we'll think about trade options later. When in reality, I have no intention to trade him to the Clippers. Because if he had intentions to trade him to the Clippers, he would have done it. We would have done it.
No. Hey, James Harden twice. Carter set up here and said James Harden have a beef. He don't have no beef. He played like trash, bro. He don't have no beef. If you don't play, hold on. If you don't play well, you gotta hold up your end of the bargain as a player. He didn't play well.
As a player, I get what you're saying. No one's defending the way James Harden played. But man to man, if Daryl Morey told him, especially with the trade thing, often I'm going to trade you, and it doesn't trade you, that's the second lie after reneging on a deal. That's cost you.
I'm not gonna lie, Jalen. I'm not gonna lie.
Man to man, you can't do that.
It's not a lie because you got to think about it. This is at the same time personal. It's also like business as well. So I can't push for a deal for you if you don't give me the necessary pieces to work with. How am I gonna give you a raise, Jalen, if you don't fucking perform at your job? I can't do it. I'm incapable of doing it.
Don't tell me you're gonna give me a raise next year. And then
guess what? You told me that you were going to be performing at the highest level, so you fucking lied to me because you didn't do it.
He took away money. If he takes less money to add guys, it has nothing to do with
we just lied to each other at that point. We're just lying to each other.
But I've been able to. The difference, though, Jalen, is I've been able to get you paid in the past when you've underperformed. So there's no reason to believe that I won't be able to do it again.
That's going to count for something. Okay, I got you before.
And that's what this was about. He underperformed in Houston in the playoffs. With him underperforming in Houston, he still did end up getting paid. However, now we moved to Philadelphia, where now we're dealing with different management, we're dealing with different ownership, and these dudes in Philadelphia are looking at James Harden like, wait a minute, you want us to pay him? Which, to Ticket's point, there was no way that they were going to extend him $160 million for 4 years after what had happened in the 2 postseasons that you had just seen. There was no way that they were going to extend him that because we're in the same position that we were in the summer of 23, that we were in the summer of 21 when we lost to the Atlanta Hawks. We're in the same space. And now what you want me to do, you want me to extend an older, declining James Harden for 4 years at $160 million? I can't do that. I can't justify that. So now he's got to go back to James Harden. Daryl Morey has to go back to James Harden after he promised him, I got you paid in Houston. I can get you paid in Philadelphia too. Don't worry about it. I can get you paid. But now he's got to go back to him and tell him, well, this doesn't look like this is going to work. This does not look like this is going to work. And that's where the lie comes in.
I feel like this is just a case of both parties being wrong. Daryl Morey is 100%, in my opinion, 100% wrong and I'm with Jalen. You lied. I get that James Harden might not have performed to the best of his abilities in the playoffs, but this is basketball. You don't make that promise to somebody. I mean, even if you make that promise to somebody, their performance is going to be based off of that. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. If I tell you, hey, look, I'm gonna try to get you out of here, and you perform relatively well in the regular season, you have some good games in the playoffs, but then you have the usual Harden stinkers. I'm not sure that's enough to be like, oh well, hey man, you late stinkers like you've been doing your whole career. No one wants you. No, that's shiesty. But on the same token, on the flip side of that coin, it's definitely wrong of James Harden to hold some Chinese basketball camp and tell everybody the owner's a liar. I don't want to play here, especially when you have the history, your track record and history that you have. This is going to be the third team you verbally force your way out of, or the third team you just straight force your way out of, and you think this is going to be good for your career. I don't understand why. Okay, you take it on the chin. Daryl Morey lied, bet. I'm going to ball my ass off this season and make sure I get the hell out of Philly and put myself in the best situation to get paid, because that's what matters to me. If it's about the money, you need to put yourself in the best situation to make the money. Him acting like this for the third team straight, I don't think that's doing the best for his money. His play is declining. He's getting older, and you still have the same issues you had mentally as you had when you were like mid-20s, late 20s, but you're in your 30s now. You're an older guy. Why are we still having these same conversations? Why are we having these same hang-ups, and why are we still sitting here with you trying to force your way out of an organization which isn't going to be best for your career? Do you really think James, like, I really don't think anyone thinks James Harden can get any big contract after this. If you pull a fat suit out and you have to get traded by force, I promise you, you're going to the Charlotte Hornets. And after that, you're going to get a 2-year, $30 million deal on the table in the next offseason. Because no one wants to deal with that long term. No one's going to want to put you as a staple of a winning team, because at this point, it doesn't look like you can be that. At least with Russ is showing you he's going to buy in. Russ is showing you he's going to buy in and do what he's going to do, and he just wants to hoop. That's what it's about. It's just about hooping. With James Harden, it's not about hooping no more.
Here's the difference, though.
About his money.
Here's the difference, though, Damo. The difference is that who are we talking about here? We're not just talking about James Harden and some general manager. We're not talking about James Harden with Jerry West or Danny Ainge. We're talking about James Harden with a guy who he's had history with, who he's been with for over a decade. And because he's been with him over a decade, he trusts him. Now, don't get me wrong, Damo. You have to separate business with personal. But when you've been with somebody that long, the relationship will get personal at some point. You've been with this person that long. So with that being said, if Daryl Morey comes to James Harden and says to him, yo, you take this less money because I've gotten you paid and I've been able to help get you paid in the past. Your players helped you get paid, but I've also been the catalyst to helping you get paid in the past. I can do it here too. We're going to build this thing in Philadelphia, and I can also get you paid too. Even though he's underperformed, I can also get you paid. And when he goes to the management in Philadelphia and go, all right, this is what we have. You got a 20-10 guy. You haven't had a 20-10 lead guard in forever. In the process of you having a 20-10 lead guard, okay, this is what he's done in the playoffs. This is why you have Joel Embiid, who's now in the middle of his prime, and I don't know how many more years I'm going to get out of him, but we're basically still in the same space. The ownership is looking at Daryl Morey and going, you got to be crazy if you think we're going to extend this dude at $160 million. For 4 more years, which will make him 38 years old, right? Which will make him 38 years old at that point, 39 years old at that point, where I can't pay him this knowing for a fact that at 39 years old or 38 years old, he might not even still be in the league. Daryl Morey didn't factor that in. The reason why he didn't factor that in, because he's thinking about James Harden when he was in Houston. I got you paid there. I can get you paid here too.
But why is it that, and specifically NBA players, they can pick and choose when it is business and when it is personal? Like for us, basketball is always business first. Like that, at the end of the day, basketball is a business, and that's what so many players that tell you in so many situations. Oh yeah, that's the business of basketball. This is the business of basketball. Basketball is a business. At the end of the day, I came into the game thinking it's about the game, but really it's about the business. Why is it that James Harden can't look at this situation and be like, yeah, he told me he was going to get me paid. He told me he was going to get me traded, but not understand this is the business of basketball. So if I told you I was going to get you paid, but you go out there and you lay a goose egg, and now the owner doesn't want to cough up the money, that's the business. If I told you I was going to get you traded, but now you're going out here and threatening a fat suit, so now the Clippers don't want to give me an adequate deal for you, oh, that's the business. But now it's not about the business. It's Daryl. We spent.
That's why.
Hey,
you know
Daryl.
He's not in a fat suit, Damo. Damo, he's not in a fat suit. He really got it.
No. That's really him.
He's not in a fat suit, though. He's not in. That's not a fat suit. Everybody talking about it's a fat suit. You tell James Harden pull his shirt up, but like I said to you, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this, bro. It went bad with them in Houston, bro, when the relationship got too close and he facilitated everything Harden was doing. When you letting Harden fly to strip clubs in Vegas after games, all during the season, when you giving him passes on everything he was doing, coming to the team, playing late, getting his own charter flights to certain cities, anything James Harden wanted to do, he got away with. Man, Mike D'Antoni went on the mic and said, I don't even coach James Harden. He said, I let James Harden do whatever he want to do. I don't coach James Harden. So when James Harden is able to do that in Houston and do whatever he want to do, this is the reason why you see a guy like Ime Udoka, who, by the way, got his chick back, Nia Long. You understand what I'm saying? He signed a contract and she came right back home to daddy. But that's a different day, a different story. But this is why you got a guy like that that's, saying, nah, I don't want no parts of James Harden, because they understand what comes with this guy. Bro, Doc Rivers sold his soul for James Harden. Doc Rivers never was letting guys go to strip clubs and fly out of town, do all this stuff during the playoffs. Doc Rivers wasn't built like that. He wasn't born from that. He wasn't doing that type of stuff. You're going to fall in line and do this. There was only one guy who gave an exception for that type of stuff. It was Phil Jackson. We did it with Dennis Rodman, bro. Other than that, those type of coaches, man, they ain't letting you get off with that type of stuff. James Harden was doing that stuff on a regular basis with Daryl Morey. All the stuff that they had going on, so they built a personal love, friendship, like we're friends for real relationship. And when you do that in business, you never mix business with personal, because then when the business comes down and Daryl Morey, his job and reputation is on the line now, because he will get fired if he does something against the will of the ownership, now he got to go through the ownership on everything. Now he make a choice. Is it my career or is it James? Daryl Morey said, "Nah, you ain't finna end my career. I did all this stuff for you your whole career. Now you gonna have to. You didn't deliver for me. Now you gonna have to bite this bullet, son."
It's just crazy how the CBA came out and you see so many people complaining about the CBA and all the little things in CBA, but it's stuff like this to why the owners felt the need to put all those stipulations and be as harsh as they were in that CBA, and why the players like Garrett Temple and Grant Williams were sitting up there in reading glasses, handcuffed. They couldn't do nothing because you got guys like James Harden doing stuff like this, and owners are sick of it. So before anyone complained, like we said this at the time when the CBA came out. I said this at the time CBA came out. Before anybody complains about the owners and the CBA and what they're doing, they've been dealing with this for an era. And there's been an era of basketball where they dealt with just this. There's been over at least a decade of this type of behavior from star players. Guys you're giving 30, 40, $50 million to doing stuff like this. Guys like Bradley Beal signing Supermaxes just to still complain about not being able to win because you signed the Supermax to the Wizards. Now you're forcing your way out. Guys like Ben Simmons, who you can say he was ran out of Philly. Philly's a tough place to play. But at the end of the day, the way he handled that as a player wasn't the best way to handle it. The way he went about it, he still could have went about it better. So you got all these different players making all this money by acting like divas, and we're surprised that the owners is like, you know what? And we're surprised the owners are finally fed up. They should have been fed up. I'd have been fed up years ago. But it is what it is, man.
There's no other North American sports league that gives this much power to its players. You look at the NFL, never. It's no joke. They locked in. They got rookie deals they get screwed on, and they locked in. If they request a trade, they don't really care. Baseball, you're locked in basically for 10 years. They manipulate time.
They 10 years, $170 billion. I mean, that's why they don't complain.
Baseball, you get one big deal. Baseball, you get one big deal usually.
It's different though, because they need to treat the NBA differently, mainly because of how much like they show face. Like people aren't invested in teams; they're just invested in the players, and it's because of how good the players are. So it's not even the league's fault. It's just it is what it is. But we could sit here and get some members and then super chats down, bro. CK became a YouTube member. Appreciate you, brother. Bobby,
welcome to the show.
Appreciate
welcome to the show, brother.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the PC community, man. Indoor Voices. We know he sold versus Mavs, but why don't we ever talk about LeBron's clutch performances in the fourth quarters of Game 5 against the C's and Bulls in 2011?
Because you lost the championship. And like Michael Jordan says, it don't matter what you do during the season. If you lose the chip, I mean, it means nothing. I mean, we can do all of this stuff during the course of getting there. And if you don't win the prize, it don't mean nothing. That's what I love about Kobe Bryant. That's what I love about those guys. They said, man, we won't win a chip, man. It don't mean nothing. Listen, I'll tell you right now. You think LeBron James is happy about going to Western Conference Finals last year and losing? Hell no. LeBron James will tell you, man, it don't mean nothing to me at this point. I want to win championships, bro. All the other stuff don't mean a damn thing right now. I want to win championships. That's why you seen LeBron James in the closeout game, putting at 38 years old, putting out everything he had on the court trying to get a win. Because he wants to win a championship, bro. It ain't just about no Western Conference Finals and stuff now. We talk about champion. Once you get to a certain level in your career, it's championship or bust. That's all we worried about. When you're at that level of Pantheon players, when you at a Kobe Bryant, when you at a Michael Jordan, when you at a LeBron James, when you at a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar level, when you at a Irving Magic Johnson level, it's all about winning championships. They don't care about anything else. If you care about anything else, if you care about any of the awards, all this stuff, LeBron don't care about the MVP awards no more at this point. He don't care about the scoring titles no more at this point. He don't care about all that other stuff at this point in his career. He don't care. He want to win championship. This is all that's left now to continue to cement his legacy.
You better not say another damn thing about Jimmy Butler last season ever again. I don't want to hear not a damn word about Jimmy Butler should come out your mouth about how great he was last season for getting to the finals with a bunch of bums. I don't want to hear it no more. It should be retired after that statement you just made, Ticket. You never should mention Jimmy Butler again. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, listen, I'm with you. I just like the fact that Jimmy doesn't try to before Dame Dollar, he wasn't trying to do super teams to do it. And so I mean, I appreciated Jimmy for that and just for going and pushing that team, you know, to a limit that we didn't think that they could get to. Like a lot of people didn't think they can get to. I appreciate guys like
but with
LeBron and those guys like that, though, Damo, man, them dudes at the top of the game, bro. Them dudes don't care about all the awards that come before going to the finals, bro. Them dudes want to win a chip, bro. You know what I'm saying? You never heard LeBron James talking about, yeah, man, what did I do against the Chicago Bulls or this or that? Or what did I do against somebody in the second round? Man, he don't care about that, bro. He care about what happened in the NBA finals when it was all on the wood. Did he have a chance to win? Period. That's what them dudes care about.
He actually said that after they lost in 2018 when he said sometimes he thinks to himself, is it even worth it getting to the finals? Is it even worth it getting here? Considering how hard it is to get there and then to lose. Like, what the hell we doing here?
Yeah, but like you just said, it is hard to get to the finals. So we have to acknowledge the players before. 2011 was kind of the exception where it was such an iconic bad performance in 2011 that people will forget what happened.
In the back end of the finals. In the back end of the finals.
Right,
in the back end of the finals. Right.
I get why people will forget it, but I think it's still important to acknowledge the journey to get there because we still remember, Kobe's 40 pieces against that tough San Antonio to get to the finals. We still remember Jordan, what he had to do against the Pistons and the Celtics to get to the finals. Well, LeBron in all these runs to get to the finals, have to beat guys, whether it's the Celtics, the Bulls, the Pacers, iconic performance to get to the finals, the Raptors destroying them. So I still think it matters. Obviously, finals performances will matter more how you perform in the finals, but the journey still matters to get to the title.
Word. Brian Holiday with another one. What teams besides the USA team have the best chance in the FIBAs? I think Canada, Spain, or France. I think Lithuania and Germany are good too.
Spain got a real good team. And Spain is the defending FIBA champion from a couple of years ago. And interesting enough, Rudy Fernandez is still on that team, and he still looks good. And that unit been together for a long time. So if any of them have a chance, even though US, they just beat Spain not too long ago. But with that being said, Spain is probably the one team that I think has a legit shot.
Spain has these guys that ball out in these Euro leagues that come to international to still ball out. I think Canada has the best NBA talent on its roster next to Team USA. So I'm going to go with Team Canada, even though I'm biased. But I get Spain too. I'm going with Team Canada.
Shea a bad mofo, man. I can't believe the Clippers traded Paul George. Shea, bro. Shea is the business, bro. Shea is the deal. When I say Shea is the deal, bro, when the Clippers drafted Shea, bro, Shea gonna be a superstar in the NBA, bro.
Actually, the Clippers didn't draft him. They Charlotte drafted him.
They got him. When they acquired him.
Jordan handed him over for a bucket of extra crispy and a six-pack for him.
I'm so glad he's selling the rights to that team, bro. There's been so many players.
He just handed him over.
He drafted Jalen Duran and handed him over. I'm so sick. I'm not even.
And just so you know, Ticket. In 2019, when they handed over Shea to Oklahoma City for Paul George. Shea is what is. He is that collector. So Jalen shows up, and I'm a collector of Ferraris, and I got this Ferrari tucked in the corner. And Shea comes in, and Jalen comes into my shop, and he's looking at the Ferraris. I got this one Ferrari tucked in the corner that I'm really hoping that he doesn't ask for. I'm hoping that he asks for these Ferraris, but he sees the one in the corner, and he goes, "Oh, wait, what about that one over there?" And I'm like, "Damn, I got to give him that one too." And that was Shea, because Doc did not want to give him up, but he had to because it was Paul George. He had to give him up, unfortunately, because if it wasn't for Paul George, he would have definitely been much better because he would have been at Point Guard University, very much like what's going on with the kid. Who am I thinking about in Philadelphia? Maxey. That's what it would have been. Doc Rivers and Sam Cassell are teaching Shea how to be a point guard, and it would have been fantastic. But the fact that Paul George shows up and it's a win now situation, even though Shea was young, he had to do it. And I'm 100% confident that he wouldn't have done it if there was another way out. But he couldn't. He had to give him up.
I would say the Canada's team probably has the best chance of beating. In my opinion, probably has the best chance of beating USA. Spain is pretty good. Shout out Bo Cruz out there getting buckets. I've seen you out there, boy. Bo Cruz out there. Willie Hernan Gomez out there. I didn't realize Rudy Fernandez is still getting buckets. I remember Rudy. But yeah, Spain probably has the second best chance, but I will go Team Canada.
Bet. Chris, keep it 100, became a YouTube member.
Welcome to the show, brother.
One thing that didn't make sense. My bad. One thing that didn't make sense in the King of the Court. You stay on and get ball. Why did the person coming up get the rock? Mars?
Mars should have stayed on.
No. They're saying, why didn't the person who just won speak first? Why did the person who came up second spoke first?
I didn't make the rules. I don't know.
Personally, I wish they would have. Whoever won, they should have gave the choice of going first or going second. Because I love the rebuttal. I ain't gonna lie. I'm a rebuttal guy. So I had no. Hey, listen, I had no problem letting them get ball first because they put themselves in the corner every time. So
I'm a one-on-one play. I like having the ball first. Give me the pill. We can go.
But I didn't like the 3 and out rule. I thought
that I don't like ticket. I don't like that. No, I don't.
Dom runs and Mars, the way Mars runs, I thought he run. So I didn't like that 3 and out rule. Because on the real court, if you scoring, you don't come out the court. You keep going. You keep going until somebody stops you.
I think that rule was in place just so everyone could eventually get on. But I agree. I don't think that rule should exist. If one person's rocking.
Well, hold on. But Jalen, let's keep it 100. If one person can run through everybody, which Mars could have ran through that whole crew of bums?
I agree.
That would have showed how trash that thing was.
I mean, look, I agree. I agree that it would have shown
Mars could have beat them by himself.
I think for content, they wanted more faces on, right? Just for YouTube content purposes.
Yeah, it's pretty sure it's content.
That low.
I don't want no content. I want to kick somebody's ass.
That's really it. And that low argument, I don't understand how low lost with that. I mean, we're talking about Anthony. The average pro career is 4 years. Anthony Bennett was the #1 overall pick in the draft. In the last 50 years, the #1 overall pick in the draft, Anthony Bennett is the only one, barring any injury, that has not played longer than 5 years. He's the only one.
Yeah, I don't know how he lost that.
Hold on, let me ask you this, Phil. Where was Michael Olowokandi pick?
#1.
And and didn't he have big expectations coming in the league?
Yes.
I'm just saying,
Kwame Brown.
Yeah, for him to say Kwame Brown failed everywhere he went. And come on, man! Like
that's why low. But that's why low lost though. The simple fact that the argument that Lamont made was Kwame Brown's expectations were just higher than Anthony Bennett's. Like we all can agree, Anthony Bennett should not have been a #1 pick. But it's fair to say, hold on. It is fair to say it's a bad take, but it makes sense. And I'm gonna be honest. Anthony Bennett did have expectations, but let's be real, that draft class was bad as it was in general. His expectations weren't as high as Kwame Brown's or any other #1 pick that we've seen in a long time. He just didn't have the highest expectations.
But Damo,
it could have been a bigger bust.
Damo, the thing about being a bust is it's not about who had the highest expectation, it's who didn't meet, who was the furthest away from their expectations. So Kwame Brown, at the end of the day, he did play substantial amount of time in the league. And even though he had higher expectations, this man, Anthony Bennett, therefore he shouldn't have been a #1 pick. He was a lottery guy, only played 4 years in the league. And then every level of basketball he was in, he was trash.
It just depends on what it really comes down to what your view of what a bust is and how you view expectations. That's really what it is. So
wait a minute though, Damo. We're talking about the #1 overall pick in the draft. What is your regardless of who the player is, you're the #1 overall pick in the NBA draft. In terms of history, you are the future of this franchise. So the idea that Anthony Bennett came from UNLV and he wasn't that good, that's not the point. The Cleveland Cavaliers invested not a first-round pick in him, the #1 overall pick. It's the same draft that had CJ McCullough. It's the same draft that had Giannis Antetokounmpo in it. They decided to go with Anthony Bennett. That means that this guy is the best option in this draft. And he's going to be that this guy is a huge part of our future. That's what the #1 overall pick means. And for him to only last barely 4 years, that's way worse than anybody else.
Hey, chill. I feel you, but if we can all sit there and say, yeah, the Cavs just like that wasn't a usual #1 pick. The Cavs just made a bad pick. That was a bad franchise move. I can't sit here and say Anthony Bennett. I can't put more expectations on Anthony Bennett just because the Cavaliers made a bad pick. If my expectations of Anthony Bennett were here, and the Cavs drafted #1, I can't just say automatically, oh, I had you here, but because you're #1, now you're here. No, my expectations were here. The Cavaliers made a mistake. With Kwame Brown, the expectations were high. They were already set high. Everyone believed he was going to be X kind of player, and he didn't live up to that. With Anthony Bennett, you did not know what the hell that was about to be. You could assume, but at the very least, you knew he was going to be, you felt he would be somewhere here. But the Cavaliers made a mistake and took him higher, and that's what really messed him up.
Why was the expectation higher for Kwame Brown than it was for Anthony Bennett? It's because he was playing with
Kwame
Jordan?
Brown was better. Kwame Brown was a better.
The skills that he showed, the skills he showed in high school, the game he had, the upside he had, seeing those skills, his skill set in the game, the potential for him was higher.
Well, he was still a guy out of high school that had high.
That's the point, dog. That's the point, dog.
Hold on. Anthony Bennett's potential, like you said, or Anthony Bennett's expectation was risen simply because of where he was picked. I understand that as a first overall pick, you should have a certain level of expectation on you by the team. But his game didn't garnish that expectation of what he was going to be in the NBA.
He was out of high school. He was going to be a top 5 to a top 10 guy no matter what. So the fact that lottery guy was not playing out like that is ridiculous.
I didn't like what Lowe said. I didn't like what Lowe said anyways. Lowe said he didn't pick because he was hurt. Well, you being hurt is part of being a bust too. Injuries are part of a player being a bust too. Just because you get hurt don't mean you ain't no bust. Sometimes if you get injuries, ain't no perform. They say that Greg Oden's a bust. Greg Oden was a bigger bust than Kwame Brown. If that's the case, because Greg Oden was picked to be one of the greatest big men to ever play the game of basketball, and because of his injuries, he couldn't play. So you get hurt. That's being a bust too. A part of that. Adam Morrison, one of the greatest college players in college history. He was renowned as one of the greatest players to come through the draft. He's supposed to be the next. They was comparing this to the next Larry Bird coming in the league. The way he was coming out of Arizona. I think he was at Arizona putting up almost 38 games. Gonzaga put up 38 games. That was unbelievable. Go back and look at the hype he had coming into the league, bro. He did nothing in the first year. Then he got hurt, bro. Bro, just because you get hurt don't mean you ain't no bust. When you get hurt, bro, that's a part of you being a bust. As the dude didn't pan out, you getting hurt. Not just part of your play. So it was other dudes that had way bigger expectations than Kwame Brown.
So I'm gonna be nasty here. Len Bias.
Well, he passed away.
Passed away.
I'm not going to be that. Fine line there, Dub. It's a fine line.
Yeah, he passed away. We talking about dudes that actually. And then when you did see Greg,
if injuries make you a bust, death has to make you a bust.
Well, you gotta at least play.
They took a number 2 pick and he died 2 days later. That's a bust.
Here's the problem, though. Here's the problem with that, though, Mars. The problem with that, though, Mars, is that we actually see guys who get hurt. We actually see what they can be. We didn't even get to see this guy.
That's what makes him a bigger bust.
No, that's not the same thing. Because here's the difference. The difference is that with Lenny, nobody knew that what he was doing. Nobody knew about that. They knew about Sam Bowie's injury history. They knew about Greg Oden's injury history. They all knew that. So there was a possibility that he could get hurt. Nobody knew about what was going on with Lenny. That came out of nowhere.
Even worse.
I'm not gonna lie. This is
that's what I'm thinking about it. And we have
it's tragic. I agree, it's tragic.
Yeah, it's tragic.
But if everything is panning out for him to be the next superstar, and no one could see it coming, and then he dies, and he was the number 2 pick. How is that not a bust?
I still think bust is a word. I still think bust is a word.
And he died 48 hours later. That's a bust.
This is a
it was Brad Doherty number 1, I believe. Len Bias was considered the best prospect in the draft. He was considered to be one of the best prospects we've ever seen. They take him number 2. He's meant to be the what's the word for someone who's taken after Larry Bird? He's meant to take the mantle after Larry Bird.
Yeah, mantle.
And then he dies. That's a bust. The pick did not work out. Now, why did it not work out? Because he died. Tragic. Rest in peace, Len Bias. I wish you could have played, but you couldn't. That would make the pick a bust.
You can say the pick was a bust, but him as an individual player wasn't a bust. The pick was a bust from organizational.
Well, he wasn't even a player. He never survived.
Right, and the other guys actually did play. Once again, Greg Oden played. Anthony Bennett played. Kwame Brown, who I don't think was a bust. These guys actually played. We didn't get to see what Len Bias was. We didn't get to see anything about him. Add that to the fact that we didn't know about any of this stuff. Mars, you keep saying that it was a bust because you're basic. What you're doing is you're using this in black and white. He didn't play. We used the number 2 pick on him. It was a bust. Well, it's not that simple, sir. Yes, and the reason why it's not that it's not that simple. It isn't that simple because if it was that simple, then again, Greg Oden, we would have done our homework on him, which they didn't do their homework on him because he had an injury history. We would have done our homework on Brandon Roy, who I don't think was a bust. I don't think Brandon Roy was a bust. But guys who go down with injuries, we would have done our homework. Nobody knew that there was an issue with Len Bias with drugs. Nobody knew that. So it's not that black and white.
Knew Mark and on top of that, to get to shoot, but guess what? We call him a bust.
But here's the difference.
Yeah, he had a motorcycle accident. That had nothing to do with anything.
That Markelle Fultz was one of the best shooters in the draft, one of the best scorers in college basketball.
Right.
Would just forget how to shoot coming into the league. But guess what? He got called a bust instantly. This guy dies, and all of a sudden it's, we didn't get to see it. Sure, we didn't. But if you ask Boston, if they had that pick again, would they take Len Bias again? No, they wouldn't, because they know it wouldn't work, because he would die. So that would mean that the pick is a bust. Like,
the difference with Markelle Fultz, number one, he's still in the league. Number two, he actually has turned it around. Is that not a fact?
Yeah, and people still
so with him turning it around, are we going to call him a bust in 5 years if he ends up making 2 All-Star teams and he takes Orlando deep into the playoffs? Because as of right now, his career is incomplete. His career isn't a career that's just over and he's out the league and he's gone.
Okay, what about Lonzo Ball? Is Lonzo Ball a bust?
Oh, he's a bust. He's a bust. He's a bust. Listen,
he had no injury. He did not get hurt.
What injury?
Mars is right with his logic.
Everyone in the chat is upset because I'm talking about someone who died, and it's a touchy subject. But there's no way anyone in the chat or on planet Earth, no way anyone on planet Earth, if I told you, by the way, Len Bias is going to die in 48 hours, you taking him number 2? Everyone's saying no because they're not stupid. Len Bias died. That would mean the pick was a bust. Am I calling him as a player a bust? No. All I've said is the pick was a bust. It was a wasted pick because he died. I said Boston would not draft him again. Do I think he would have panned out? Yes. Do I think he was going to be a bust as a player? No. But the pick itself was a bust because they took someone who never played in the NBA at number 2. It's like taking someone at 59 who never plays in the NBA. We don't call them a bust because of the 59th pick. But when you get the second pick in the NBA and they never play in the league, that pick was a bust. So I don't know what to say. And just saying who knew, no one predicts someone to be a bust. No one does that. No one said, if Wemby ends up not panning out, are we going to say, well, who knew he wasn't going to pan out? I guess he's not a bust. Like, what? Everyone predicted he's going to be great. If he doesn't exceed, he's a bust. Everyone thought Len Bias was going to be great. He didn't get to be great. That would make the pick a bust. Like, that's just common sense. The only reason you're saying it's not is because he died, and I guess it's respect.
I want to change up what Mars said. I want to change something Mars said because I'm looking at this list on Bleacher Report, the top 15 busts of all time. And Kawami's not number 1 on none of these lists. This list actually says Sam Bowie's number 1. It says that Darko Milicic is number 2 bust of all time. Michael Olowokandi is number 3 bust of all time. Greg Oden is number 4 bust of all time. Then it says LaRue Martin, who was number 1 overall for the Portland Trailblazers in 1972, was the bust. Then it has Kwame Brown at number 6 at all time. But then after Kwame, think about this. It says Adam Morrison was on that list. Chris Washburn of the Golden State Warriors in 86. It also says Robert Tractor Trailer, RIP to Tractor Trailer. He went number 6 overall in 98. Jay Williams, we didn't even talk about him. He got in a motorcycle accident for the Chicago Bulls, number 2 overall pick.
Yeah, he's not a bust either, then I guess.
Sean Bradley, the number 2 overall pick. These are some guys. Marvin Williams for the Atlanta Hawks. Hashim Thabit, number 2 overall pick.
He was a
big bust.
Right. Yeah, Joe Alexander, that went number 8 overall to the Milwaukee Bucks. And Joe Barrett from the Golden State Warriors in 1980. Those are who the top 15 all-time busts in NBA history.
Just so you know, that's how the Celtics got Kevin McHale, by the way. But anyway, back to
that list. I think they're focusing a lot on who was picked after them. So you notice with Darko Milicic as a bust, it's his game, but also realizing that you had a chance to take Carmelo, you had a chance to take D Wade, you had a chance to take Chris Bosh. I think so. And I think who else was it? Sam.
No, they were saying Darko was the next Dirk. No, they were saying Darko was the next Dirk. That's the because
I understand when Dirk took over.
That's when Dirk took over. They thought Darko Milicic, the dumbass. Well, I don't want to say that, but Joe Dumars, for some reason, this man thought that Darko Milicic was the next Dirk Nowitzki, and I'm skipping past the great Carmelo Anthony, who had just won a national championship at Syracuse, to go get one of the greater European players ever, and it ended up being an absolute horror show. But nobody ever talks about that. You get a guy like Lamont who will talk about all these expectations that was for Kwame Brown and say he failed everywhere, but he never mentions Sean Bradley. He never mentions Adam Morrison. He never mentioned, like Lowe said, the other guys. So like I said before, man, when you 15 years in the league, to me, you can't be a bust after I thought about it, especially in the situation that he was in. You're in a situation where they're not featuring you, bro. Bro, if he came in and they featured him and he didn't get it done, that's different. Them other dudes was getting featured, bro. Anthony Bennett went to a sorry-ass team where they were giving him the ball, bro. These other dudes are going to teams where they were going to get the rock, bro. The Lakers are going to give Adam Morrison the rock. Adam Morrison tore his ACL getting crossed over by Luke Walton, man.
And on top of that, I've seen guys. The issue that I had with Morrison, that's why I said the work ethic wasn't there. I'm listening to people talk to me about, well, he had a knee injury and that screwed him up. I've seen plenty of guys come back from knee injuries. I've seen plenty of guys come back from injury and put the work in and be good. And not just be good, still be great. And he wasn't that. The work was not there. He still played after. He could still play. The skill set was still there. He, on the other hand, did not put the work in to get his body back together. He did not put the work in, and mentally he wasn't there. So because of that, his game went the other way. Now,
what number one overall pick don't get a shot to be the man on the team? What number one overall pick that you picking that's number one overall that's going to a team that he ain't gonna get the ball put in his hands from day one? See, that's what happened with Kwame Brown. He was number one overall pick, but you going to play with Michael Jordan. You going to play with who else on that team with the Wizards?
Rip Hamilton, Jerry Stackhouse.
Bro, you ain't getting the ball. You're not getting the ball. You're not getting no opportunity on a team like that. And then Doug Collins is the coach. You ain't getting no shot, bro. You're not getting no shot. So
who Jordan hired, by the way? Don't forget that ticket. Who Jordan hired? Jordan hired Doug Collins, by the way.
Come on, bro. Be real, man.
So.
Got you. What's good, Bob? Pleasure to see you here, brother. Always a pleasure.
Up,
Big Ox, what up?
Just chilling, man. Trying to jump in the conversation, see what y'all got going.
No,
hey, hold on. I talk about that bus stuff, man. What do you think, Ox?
I got kind of late, ticket. I ain't really hear what y'all was saying.
They was saying we was having a discussion real quick about the qualifications of what is a bus. You know what I'm saying? Like, because yesterday, Lamont said that Kwame Brown was the biggest bust in NBA history because he failed every single way he went according to the expectations. But we said that there's other players who had bigger expectations coming in the league, and whether it was work ethic or injuries, they didn't fulfill them and didn't play as many years as Kwame Brown played.
To you, gotcha.
How do you feel about that? Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
I don't think it's possible for Kwame to be the biggest bust just for reasons like you said. He played for multiple seasons. Like how many he played? 10 seasons, 9 seasons?
No, 13. He played like 14 years. 13, 14 years.
No, that's a successful career, bro.
Right.
I mean, you can't. The NBA is so talented. You're not gonna be like. It's hard to start. It's hard to play 20, 30 minutes, like no matter what. So if you're on a roster for 13 seasons, 14 seasons, if you ask me, that's a successful professional basketball career. Luke Walton, Adam Morrison, Jimmer Fredette, Anthony Bennett, those guys are, that's a real bust. But I don't know. I don't know if I consider Kwame a bust or not. I can see where you could say yes and no, like because he was he was a number one pick, so they expected a lot more for him. But still, like I said, to have a 14-year career in the NBA is successful. I think so.
To harp on what Mars said again, I think after he brought up the difference between a bust pick versus bust as a player, and I think that's perfectly fine. As a player, we don't know what Lem Bias would have turned out to be. We never got to see him. We all think he would have been great, but as a pick, he is right. The pick is technically a bust because he never got to play for him, which is perfectly fine. And back to what Chilltown said with Adam. See, guys like Adam Morrison again. Adam Morrison, I remember he was in the Player of the Year race with JJ Redick that year. I think there was some question with Adam Morrison coming out of college as whether he had the athleticism and speed to keep up with the NBA game. I think he had the shooting ability that was there, but I think there was some question marks. And once that knee injury happened, it sucked the very little athleticism that he had, to try to compete with NBA guys. It was over with. But I do think with guys like him, again, Jimmer Fredette, we saw what he did in scoring, but did anyone think he was coming to the NBA and dropping 28, 30 a night? No, I don't think everyone ever expected that of Jimmer, right? So I think the expectation with guys like that who are perennial all-time score or perennial scorers in college, there are some players who are, great in college, but we know their games don't translate well to the NBA level.
I'm lying. Jimmer Fredette was supposed to come in the league and get buckets. The hell you talking about?
I don't think those was in the college grade, but we never thought that.
Jimmer Fredette.
Whoa, Jalen, do you remember?
Yes, I remember the hype with Jimmer. I think you remember.
You a liar. You a liar, dog. You a liar, bro.
He was dropping 30 to 40 balls.
You a liar, bro.
Jimmer was cold.
Jalen, do you know what number we drafted Jimmer at?
I hear you, man. Jimmer Mania. I remember. I remember Jimmer Mania was a real thing.
I almost cried that night. Jalen almost cried that night when we drafted Jimmer Fredette.
Because they thought they had him. They thought they had a winner. It's like, yo, we got him.
Yeah, they thought that our stupid ass front office. That's what I'm saying. Like, y'all talk about the Kings like we were sabotaged from the inside for 15 seasons. we drafted Jimmer Fredette. We drafted Thomas Robinson. We drafted Nick Stauskas.
That's Canadian.
These are bad
okay,
names.
well, first, hold on, Big Ox. Hold on, rewind.
Thomas Robinson.
I was a big fan of Thomas Robinson coming out of college. I thought he was going to be awesome. I did. I thought he was going to be awesome. I did not see that. That's number one. Number two, Jimmer Fredette, if you remember, maybe his game didn't translate to the NBA as well. I think he had a 70-point game in China.
Yeah,
I think he went for 70 in one game. So, I mean, this isn't a dude who wasn't buckets. He clearly was buckets, and he was dropping 30 and 40 in college. Just so you know, Jalen, only 40 minutes in the college game. He was getting 30 and 40, leading the country in scoring. So I'm thinking that this dude coming into the pros, is this going to translate? It was a lot of hype around him, a lot.
The hype was there. I just never again, this time when in BYU when they're doing this thing, I just never thought his game was going to translate that well to the NBA. He was never going to be a 20+ per game scorer.
Right.
Got you.
I just think that I think that what people got sensitive to, like what the conversation Maz and I was just having, what people got sensitive to was Len Bias was a bust, as opposed to, and he just clarified it, the pick was a bust. So essentially, Maz, I go on a lot and I get a car. Is the car a bust? Even if I come back and tomorrow it's not there. I picked this car, but it's not there, Maz, even though it's a Rolls Royce. And it potentially, if I would have gotten it on the road, it would have been running just fine. Now, is it a?
Oh no, go ahead.
Is it a bust or is the dealership a bust? I mean, those two things aren't the same thing. So I do understand the pick being a bust as opposed to Lenny because we didn't know who he was. But if they had a choice to pick again at number 2, knowing what we know today, they probably would have passed on it.
Chill. If I pay for that Rolls Royce or if I pay for that Ferrari but never get it, that's a waste.
It is a waste. 100% it is. And not only do you not get it, not only do you not get it, the Ferrari that you paid for, it blew up last night. You came in to get it today, and you come in today, and it's on fire. It was a waste.
I get no money back. I get no money back.
It was a waste. 100%. It was a waste. Now, if the car hadn't blown up, even though there was no mechanical problems with it the night before, you had already driven it, you had tested it, everything was fine with it. Would that car have been just fine? Probably. But the fact that it didn't work out like that, yeah, I can understand the pick being a bust more than it being Lenny. Because Lenny looked like he was a franchise player.
That Len Bias versus Michael Jordan rivalry would have been something special.
Chat just needs to being sensitive, man. But we could get to another super chat. Can the panel grade the Mavs offseason, adding G. Will, Seth Curry, DJJ, Hardy as a year better? I think we improved. Luka, Kyrie going to figure it out. What you guys think?
I think Luka and Kyrie together. I mean, again, pieces like Seth Curry, adding a shooter around him. I like that. Derek Lively was the best defender in college this year. He's still kind of an old school big man. Doesn't have much of a mid-range or outside shot, so that's a little worrisome. But if he can hold down the paint there, I don't mind that pick. He develop a game. I think picking up a guy like Grant Williams, a dirty work guy, is going to play hard defense, get you steals, get you some blocks. Just be out there. Don't hate that too. I think it's Jaden Hardy, good young player, showed some flashes last year. So him stepping up. I think the Mavs have pieces. I just worry about their big man rotation, I think, is what I'm most worried about. See if that pans out.
One of their major problems was interior scoring. And now that you've gotten Grant Williams back, you've shored up some of that perimeter defense that you lost in both Bullock and Finney-Smith. You shored some of that up. You haven't shored up all of that. You shored up some of it. The problem that we have is that you don't really have anything interior that you can go to in terms of buckets, because we all know Powell is not a starting center on a playoff team. I never really felt like he was a starting center on a playoff team. And the fact that they couldn't really get anything from him. And now you're going to bring in Lively, who, as good as he is defensively, I think offensively he's a project. And
he's really bad offensively.
I think he's a project. And because of that, that's not conducive to what's going on right now with both Luka and Kyrie. This is kind of a win-now situation with them. Add that to the fact that Luka is looking at this situation going, if we don't win in the next year or 2 years, and if this kid Lively doesn't develop, how much longer are they going to be able to hold on to Luka?
Do you think, Chilton, do you think that that Jason Kidd will give Rashawn some minutes off the bench, like maybe help him shore up the big man position on the second team?
I think that Rashawn Holmes is exactly what Jason Kidd needs. He loves guys like Rashawn Holmes, dirty work guys that could give you a solid 10, 15 minutes, could knock down the mid-range, a big-time energy guy. I still don't understand, Ox, why he wasn't in the rotation in Sacramento, because I think that he was really good for you guys. I still don't understand why he wasn't in the rotation.
They went away from that, Bill. They went away from that. And that's the part I don't like about J. Kidd. I've been seeing J. Kidd been acting weirdo with some of his moves like the last year or so, like especially with the bigs, what I'm talking about. Like J. Kidd, he want to play all small ball now. And that's the part about J. Kidd I don't like, bro. So I don't think he's going to be using Rashad Holmes that much. I think he's going to be more so using Kleber. He likes Kleber, the way Kleber can spread the floor, shoot the ball like that from the 3-ball. And I think that you see Rashawn is in very limited minutes because they went away from guys like that. And let me address one thing you said about Luka, because I totally disagree with y'all saying. Luka's not going anywhere. Regardless of what happens, he's going to have the same career as Dirk eventually. He's got Dirk in his ear. They got Mark Cuban there. Mark Cuban always treats his players good on and off the court. Luka's never going to leave Dallas. He's going to start and end his career in Dallas just like Dirk did. And he has a mentor in Dirk there to see it through. So remember, Dirk went through all the good and bad times. We never talked about Dirk leaving. Dirk never even got up to go leave. Even through all the bad times that they had, the down years they had, Dirk never got up and left. They just weathered it. They found a way to get through it. Luka will too. I don't see Luka as one of those guys. The European guys ain't moving like that, bro. The European guys not moving like the American cats. They're not out here demanding trades and asking to be gone because the teams ain't right and all this other stuff. The European guys, they're bred and they're cut a different way. I'm sorry to say it, but it's just true. They got a different set of principles because those dudes come from countries where they are attached to their teams. They are a part. Like if you are attached to a team, and Bob would know this, Ron would know this, like in EuroLeague, if that's your team, like you grew up in for the most part of your career, that's probably going to be your team. Now, sometimes do guys move around and they have a dispute or something with the team? Yeah, but it's very rare. Most of those guys you see, they're with their teams, especially in rich in those countries. And to me, that's what Luka Doncic, I think Luka Doncic is going to be a guy who starts and ends his career with the Dallas Mavs. They're going through a little rocky part right now. But, I mean, Dallas has already proven to him they can get him to the Western Conference Finals early in his career. So I think that they'll make some adjustments throughout his career and get him the right thing. But I don't think you'll ever see Luka Doncic leave the Dallas Mavs. I think it's a Dirk Nowitzki career, 100% up and down, full career with the same team. That's what I think, bro.
Do you agree with that, though, Ticket? Like let's say the Kyrie situation don't work out. Do you think he should stay, or would you rather him go somewhere he could?
I think he should stay. I always think these players should stay, bro. I thought KD should stay in OKC. Your legacy would have been bigger. You overcome the stuff with Steph Curry and them. You come back and you win. Your legacy is bigger. I thought LeBron should have stayed in Cleveland. I thought that all these players should stay, especially if you like. I'm just saying, in general, to me, these players would have been greater than what we're thinking about them today. They would have just stayed. Because I think LeBron James eventually breaks through Boston. Boston was getting older and getting washed up, bro. Like he breaks through that. Then when he breaks through that and wins chips, guess what? Everybody on his side, everybody saying, well, damn, this dude, he is that dude. Now, how much confidence does he have then going forward? How many can he rack up then? How great these dudes saying KD is if he never leaves OKC? If KD's forced to go get the win with OKC and Russ, they have put great teams around the dude. He had no reason to leave. So then you look at all these other young guys. D Wade in Miami, he had already went to the finals early in his career. You go through that rough patch. Listen, Miami has already shown you they can take role players and these other dudes to get back to the finals. They did that with Jimmy Butler and these guys. So when you get on these certain teams, man, I like to see Joel Embiid stay with Philly. Go through the hard times. Go get the championship. You know what? Because it's your fault you're not getting it done. Your playoff elevation goes down. It devalues in the postseason from what you did in the regular season. It's your fault. It ain't an organization fault. James Harden, when he left OKC, I understood that move because they didn't pay him. Cool, no problem. You go to Houston, you're supposed to stick that out in Houston. You're in the Western Conference Finals, a game away from the NBA Finals, and you leave. You say that's because of you. All these dudes, bro.
I understand in Houston, they had no idea what they were doing in Houston. They basically tore that thing down, and they had no idea what they were doing in Houston. And James Harden wasn't interested in the rebuild. Now, the way he handled that was completely unprofessional.
Step right there. Stop right there. Chill. My boy, stop right there. He did that. Hold on. I want you to think about this. Western Conference Finals, Chris Paul gets hurt. What does he do? The next year, him and Chris Paul, he get into a beef with Chris Paul. Right. He gets Chris Paul ran off the team. Then he gets his buddy Russ.
Right.
What happened? You get the whole pandemic stuff happen, right?
Right.
Russ gets sick. He gets hurt, gets sick. They go in the bubble, get washed. Then he pushes Russ out. Nah, I don't want Russ. Can't get it done. We can't cooperate with each other. Remember, that's what he said. We can't we boys, we can't coexist. Now, for some reason, you want to go play back with Russ again with the strippers. It's these dudes, bro. It's these dudes. So why? Never should have left. Hold on. Never should have left the Spurs. Great organization. Proven over the years they can get it done. He should have stayed with that team.
Well, two things. Number one, with Houston and Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook was the one who was looking at this going, yo, the way y'all doing things around here is just not correct. Because Russ was a pro. Russ showed up, came to work every day. Russ did his job. Russ played hard. And he realized that a lot of those dudes on that crew, including James Harden, were not invested. That's number one. Number two, when you're talking about San Antonio, first and foremost, Leonard was telling us there's something wrong with my knee, and you guys think that I'm crazy. Meanwhile, they telling Leonard, yo, you good, go out there. You good, go out there. No, I'm not. There's something wrong with this knee, and you guys are thinking that I'm crazy. So now that y'all thinking that I'm crazy, now they starting to throw him under the bus. So you got guys like Tony Parker, yo, he's been cleared. You got other guys telling him that he's been cleared and that he's not able to play. And he's like, I'm telling you something's wrong with my knee. You dudes think that I'm faking it. So the fact that you think I'm faking it, y'all are against me. I think I need to get out of here because you don't think, or you don't have my best interest. So I think that I need to get out of here.
So
it wasn't because he wanted to go home. That was it. No other reason. No other reason. He just wanted to go home.
Why, hold on. That's no why you want to chip with a team. You want to chip with this team. You go run it back. You defend your. See, this is my whole point. What I'm saying.
And he left $40 million
all the running, by the way. All the running and jumping around, bro. That's not like, to me. Like I said, I'm against all that. When you talk about Luka and he said, "Oh, should Luka move?" Hell no. Stay 10 toes down. The organization has proven that they can get a championship. They've proven they can get guys to the NBA Finals. They've proven that. So what's all the running for? Toronto proved to Kawhi, we can get you a chip. We're going to run it with the same team back. What this fool do? No, I'm going to go to the strippers.
Now, remember, remember, Ticket, we talking about a time where the outside influences the masses are huge in terms of an influence. So a guy like Luka, I don't think that he should leave. But when you get that in your ear 200-300 times, what you doing here? Why you staying here? They ain't got your best interest at hand. You hear that 200-300 times. Same thing with Leonard when he was in San Antonio. Yo, these dudes don't care about you. They're going to ruin your career. They think that you faking it. They think that you soft. You hear that 200-300 times. It's probably best if I get out of here. Same thing's going to go on with Luka. If they fail this year, if they fail next year, Luka, what are you still doing here? They don't care about you. They don't care about winning. They're not serious about winning. You hear that 200-300 times, you start thinking, you know what? You may be right. They don't care about me winning. They don't care about us winning. They don't care about my career. I don't want to sit here and continuously be a loser. When in reality, they may have your best interest at hand. This is just the hard times that you got to go through in order to win.
Weak mentality. And to prove it, just look at Bob's situation over there in Sacramento. Sacramento Kings are going to make the biggest mistake and trade De'Aaron Fox. You know what they did? They said, nah, we're not going to do that. We're going to make adjustments around him. We're going to bring in Mike Brown, bring in a new coach, put adjustments around him, and now look. Now he's enriched and enshrined in that organization. They were just thinking about moving that guy.
100%.
But what they did, so all I'm saying is that you don't have to move the players. Sometimes only thing you have to do is continue to build on the organizations, bro. And these guys, if you're that great, it will work out. Look at Shea in OKC. Shea went to OKC, they were garbage. Shea started whispering about maybe he wanted to leave. He hadn't left. Look what they've been doing. Building around him. Look what the team is doing. Slowly building. This is what makes you great. Now they continue to build this year. Go and win like 48 games, 49 games. Get into the playoffs. Now you're building as a team. You understand what I'm saying? You're going in the right direction. There's no reason for these guys to keep jumping around teams like cheap hoes. You're going to end up looking like KD, looking like a straight hoe running from team to team to team, and now you're in a pitiful situation where you got a nigga like Lamont Lane coming in here talking about you the greatest duo in basketball, but you out here getting stripped and walked down and carried by a dude by the name of Devin Hooker. Don't make any sense whatsoever, sir. Stay in your place and go get it done, man. Point blank, period.
Okay. I'm going to cut it out with the super chats for a second. I want to transition to the Team USA basketball. Chilltown, you actually brought it up about USA versus Spain, where Jalen Brunson had a monster game. Didn't miss anything from the field, 9 for 9. I believe 21 or 22 points. I wanted to ask the question, where has Jalen Brunson solidified himself in amongst point guards in the league right now? Is he top 5? Is he top 10? Where does he rank right now? And how good is he?
I think he's on the back end of the top 10 point guards in the game. But I think to this day, I think Dallas made a mistake letting him walk out the front door. I think that they had something going there and it was going to work had he been able to come back. That was the guy that Luka needed. He could play off of him. He could actually be a playmaker. He could get buckets when Luka didn't have it going. I think that him being in New York and him playing off Julius Randle and RJ Barrett, those guys playing off of him, I think he gives them a dynamic that they didn't have. I do think that he's a point guard in the future that we're going to be talking about quite possibly. If the Knicks can continue to get better, we could be talking about him quite possibly in the top 5.
I think he's in between like 10 to 15. Maybe get into the top 10 this year, maybe, but I still probably have 10 guys over him. But like I said, I think, bright future young guy. I think the Mavs did make a mistake. I think
name him, Jalen. Name him. Name 10 guys better than him right now.
Let's talk about it. We got Steph Curry.
1.
We got give me Luka Doncic.
2.
Give me Damian Lillard.
3.
Give me SGA.
4.
Give me John Morant.
5.
Give me Jamal Murray.
6.
Give me Trae Young.
7.
Give me De'Aaron Fox.
8.
Give me Kyrie Irving.
9. I don't love that, but okay.
Yeah.
9.
Why don't you love that, Chill?
Because Chill hates Kyrie.
And then give me.
I don't hate Kyrie, but
9. Give me Halliburton.
Darius Garland.
Closer, but
is he better than Darius Garland?
Is he better than Halliburton? Like, see, that's
is he better than Halliburton?
I think
so. That's where we are. So we're in the back end of the top 10, which is where I had him.
Yeah, I must say 10 to 15. We're such at the same place, 10 to 15.
Right. We're in the back end of the top 10. That's where I think he is. But anyway, finish your point. I just wanted to hear where you at with
I do think with the Dallas thing, they definitely kind of messed up instead of letting Luka and Jalen Brunson kind of figure it out together. But I will say though, when Jalen Brunson got that contract, 90% of us, 95% of us thought he was overpaid. Right when he got that,
they got him on the cheap.
Yeah, they ended up getting him on cheap. But when he first got that deal, I don't think anybody expected Jalen Brunson to turn out to be this guy, right? So I will say that
you thought
he was going to be this good.
What about that running Dallas stuff?
Yeah, if you thought he was going to be this good,
Damo, you thought he was going to be this good?
Yeah.
Oh, hey,
I knew the Knicks got a steal. When he signed that deal, I was like, that's a steal. He deserves more money.
Hey, good on you then. Good on you.
Ticket, is Jalen Brunson a superstar?
He's not here. Right
What kind of question was that?
If you're talking, you muted, Ticket, but that's a crazy question.
Yeah, we can't hear you.
I don't know if you got told to say that question or if that was something you wanted to. I don't know. That was
by no stretch of the imagination.
Where is Ticket? I need Ticket here right now.
And Ma, and to Mars's point, Mars thinks I hate Kyrie Irving. I don't hate Kyrie Irving. I just don't think he's as good as everybody else. That's number 1. Number 2, I'm not sure. I'm not going to say that he's better than. I'm not going to say Jalen Brunson is better than him. No, I'm not saying that. I just don't think Kyrie Irving is as good as everybody say he is. That's all.
I don't think I've ever heard you say anything positive about Kyrie.
He's the best ball handler that I've ever seen.
There you go. One thing. Nice.
I don't think Kyrie Irving is a point guard anymore. I think Kyrie.
On top of that, I think he's a combo guard
for the last couple of years. I see
on a team just have 2 point guards.
Yes,
like Steph and Chris Paul are playing together. Does Steph become a shooting guard this year?
I mean, if they start together, then I mean we'll have that conversation. But I feel like one's going to come off the bench. If one comes off the bench,
hypothetically, if they started, is now Steph a shooting guard and he's in shooting guard category?
I mean,
or do we just say Golden State have 2 point guards?
If he has less of playmaking responsibilities, if he's on ball less compared to obviously way lesser than other years, I would say he's more of a shooting guard this year. Yeah. I would say so. I just feel like it's your responsibilities on the ball. If you're taking less responsibilities, playmaking and setting up as a point guard, then you're not a point guard no more. You're a 2 guard.
But Damo, the thing with that, like when you have two point guards playing together, especially when both of them got the ability to score at will, it's like neither one of you are the point guard. It's kind of like whoever gets the ball, push the break, or push the offense, set it up. So when it comes to that, I definitely see our point, but I still consider Kyrie a point guard, even when he's on the floor with Luka.
Right.
I seen somebody in the chat say, "Is DeJounte Murray not a point guard when he plays with Trey?" Exactly. He's not. He's not a point guard anymore. He's a 2 guard. He's off the ball more than.
I just think they have 2 point guards.
Mm-hmm.
Did he play the point guard? Was he the primary ball handler in San Antonio?
Yeah, he was. He was.
Mm-hmm.
He was the point guard in San Antonio, but when you go and now you're on ball less, you have less of the playmaking responsibilities, and you have more duties as a 2 guard. Right. It's easier to call you a 2 guard.
I mean, he did play behind Tony Parker, so he was the heir apparent to Tony Parker. I can't get with that. I can't get with that logic, but I have a difficult time with the quote unquote. And Mars just brought it up. The hate is such a strong word. I hate that. I do not like that word because that means I'm consumed by this guy, and I'm not consumed by Kyrie Irving. I just don't think that he's as good as all of you dudes make him out to be. That's all. Do I not think he's good? I think he's fantastic, but I don't think he's as good as everybody thinks he is. That doesn't mean I hate him.
Is Kyrie better than Jamal Murray?
Yes,
I think so.
Yes.
I would say
Jamal a better basketball player.
There's a difference between being a better player and playing better. Jamal Murray played better. Kyrie Irving is better than Jamal Murray. Yes, he is.
Okay. When did Jamal play better than Kyrie?
Absolutely. You will not, Mars. First and foremost, you've been around me long enough that you know that I might say something that you don't agree with, but I won't say something ridiculous like wait a minute.
But chill. When did Jamal ever play better than Kyrie? That's all I'm trying to figure out.
How about in the playoffs this year?
In the playoffs this year,
wasn't in the playoffs.
Because Kyrie wasn't in the playoffs.
Hey, that goes back to a certain someone who never got to play in the NBA, but we're not going back to that. So I mean, Kyrie wasn't there. That's not his fault.
I see the early stages.
I can't call him a bad player performance.
Hold on for a second, Ticket. Are we actually talking about a guy who never got a chance to play in the NBA because he didn't get a chance, as opposed to a guy who actually got a chance
to play in the playoffs?
He did have a chance because he was playing in the regular season. You do have a chance. You got 82 games to get into the playoffs.
Well, he wasn't
honestly comparing. And I've seen guys get traded and go to other teams, Mars, where they've actually made the playoffs.
Yeah, and if his team made the playoffs, then maybe we could have seen if he played better than Jamal Murray, but he wasn't. He was
on track to make the playoffs. They was gonna make the playoffs.
I mean, it's not Kyrie's fault. I can't say Jamal Murray played better in the playoffs when Kyrie didn't even get to play.
And why didn't he get to play?
Especially
man, it doesn't matter why he didn't get to play, man. He just didn't get to play.
So it's just black and white. So it's just that simple.
Yes, he just didn't get to play.
But when you look at it though, he was about to be playing in the playoffs. Like they were on that trajectory in Brooklyn. Like him and KD were definitely going to be in the playoffs, without a doubt.
I think you see early with Jamal Murray. I think you see because he's like in year 6. I think you kind of see that trajectory that Kyrie was on. With Murray, I think he has all the skills. I think all the skills are there, and I think he's better defensively. And he's bigger than Kyrie. I think he can do everything Kyrie can do as far as the ball handling.
So what was year 6 for Kyrie though?
He's nice.
When he got
that was with LeBron. That was with LeBron. That was with LeBron.
The best year of Kyrie's
those Kyrie Irving years, his later year, the last couple years in Cleveland, Jamal Murray hasn't even scratched that yet.
No, you're not hearing me. Hold on.
Jamal Murray hasn't even sniffed that level of basketball.
But let me hold on. No, that's not true though. You gotta let me finish what I'm saying.
True.
But hold on. Let me finish my sentence. You understand where I'm coming from?
Yep.
I'm saying it because we're really looking at Jamal Murray in year 4. Because really he missed, that time due to the injuries. No, that's what I'm saying. It says year 6, but he's really missed out on 2 years. Because of the injuries. These are facts. No, 2. But we haven't seen him 2 postseasons. Remember, Jokic won the MVP in the year before. He played 2 years without him in the playoffs, basically. So what I'm saying is this. I think that if Murray wasn't hurt, we would have seen a farther advanced Murray at this point from him playing. Because remember, when he came back, he was still trying to play back through the injury this year. So it wasn't like he was full. Now, this season coming up, I think we're going to see what Jamal Murray is going to be in his prime. I think this year coming up, you see the 25, 26 point per game Jamal Murray. I think the whole arsenal comes out this year. I think the tools you see with him, the ability to handle the ball, the ability to shot creation, the ability to score on all three levels, the ability to mix it up, and he's able to post up too. He has moves too, as well as being able to break down the defense. He has a lot of moves in his arsenal offensively. I think we're going to see this. You understand what I'm saying? I think this is something that this year, now is something that we're going to say, okay, damn, Murray really that he really that dude. We've seen in the playoffs, he's had series where he's dropped 50 in multiple series against the Utah Jazz to get them guys up out of
That's a lot of speculation, though, Ticket. But what I will say is
I'm not saying hold on. It's not speculation because I'm saying
speculation. You're talking about what?
No. This is what I'm saying. It's not speculation because we saw the playoff translation from when he was in the bubble to this past season. We saw the translation in the playoffs. We seen the up, and so like, didn't he put up like almost 26 a game in the finals? So I mean, we've seen that's right on par to what Kyrie was nearly doing. So and then he's also giving you the assist, which was more than what Kyrie was giving you. He's giving you better defense than what Kyrie was giving you.
I think Jamal Murray's averaged more than five assists once.
You said what?
I think Jamal's
I'm speaking of the playoff elevation. Let's want to say it. I'm saying because of the injury, this past season was more of a feel out. He still averaged 20 on a feel out season this past season.
How do you consider it a fill out season just because he got hurt?
Because you come up,
he's still a hooper. Like,
when you get hurt, Bob, especially a major injury, a season-ending injury, and you miss an entire season, the season that's coming up, that's the season where I'm transitioning just to show that I can still play. The next year after that is when I get back to what I was on my way to doing.
No, I get y'all. Now, Tigger, I get what you say. Now, so I get what you mean, but at the same time, okay, a dude not he took all his time. You know what I'm saying? He didn't try to rush it back. So like that's what I'm saying. Like a fill out season, I wouldn't call it a fill out season. I think he was 100% healthy this year. And once again, I want to say I'm not shitting on Jamal Murray. I think Jamal Murray is a hell of a player. I just don't think it's fair to talk about him missing time and not talk about Kyrie missing time. Kyrie came into the NBA with hurt as well. So I think we got to take that into account as well.
Hold on. I agree with you.
But Kyrie was already Kyrie was already at this level. So I'm saying like if you say he's on a trajectory to Kyrie, I can see where you're coming from. But Kyrie was already there.
Hold on. Oh, well, let's do it. Since you want to do it, then I'll give you the same shit I gave Lamont yesterday. Well, so now let's do it, right? So hold on one second. Because they came in two completely different situations. Kyrie came in a situation where he got to put up as many times as he wanted because he was the man on a bad team. Jokic came into a situation where he wasn't the man. He was not the man. Hold on. So what I'm saying to you is this.
Hold on, take it real quick. I want to say, I know you and Lamont, y'all got y'all thing. Y'all wanted to argue with each other. So when I say I'm not Lamont, I mean I'm not here to bash you. I'm not here to argue with you. I'm just trying to say I don't think Jamal Murray is as good as Kyrie Irving. I'm not trying to attack.
You don't hear what I'm saying. My whole point to you was that I'm saying what I saw in the playoffs this past season. And going forward, that's what I think we'll see from Jamal Murray. That is Kyrie Irving level.
Okay.
What I saw in the playoffs this past season from Jamal Murray in the NBA Finals, in the conference finals, all of that stuff, the 30-point triple-doubles, the 40-point games, what I saw before he got hurt, the multiple 50-point games in the playoffs, carrying the Denver Nuggets, that's Kyrie Irving. All I'm saying is this year, now that he has had a whole year back off his injury, going into this season now I think we see the real what Jamal Murray is going to be. I think we see that 25, 26 point per game guy. And if you look at his game, it's very similar to Kyrie's game. His ability to handle control of the ball, his ability to play off Jokic like Kyrie could play off LeBron James, his ability to shoot the three ball off the dribble, to post up, to score in the post with multiple moves, finishing at the basket, his ability to hit the mid-range jump shot. If you look at it, a lot of the things, and then his clutch gene, his ability to level up in the playoffs in a bigger game. As the stakes get bigger, his game gets bigger. His toughness is there. His IQ is there. The moves is there. So this season, now that he's had that season last year, now I'm expecting him to come this year, give you 25, 26 points per game this season. That's what, and I think he will probably lead the team.
I could definitely see that. I could definitely see that. I agree that I think he has the ability to do that without a doubt.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
In 2017, you talked about Kyrie Irving and Jamal Murray would never see anything like that. So this postseason.
Well, no, I ain't said that your time. What I said is what I want to make sure I'm clear. The level that Kyrie was playing at.
Yeah,
like the last season or two at Cleveland in that first year over in Boston. I don't think Jamal has touched that level yet. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying he won't get there. So I think that's where me and Tick was having a misunderstanding. I'm saying I'm not saying he won't get there. I'm just saying him in year 5 isn't, in my opinion, isn't Kyrie level at year 5, year 6. That's all I meant. But
you don't think he was scratching the surface in the playoffs last year with the performances he was putting up, the shots he was making? Because when we're talking about
it wasn't much different in 2017.
When we're talking about year 6 Kyrie, the thing about year 6 Kyrie, again, we're talking about Kyrie in 2017. Well, that's coming off of him in 2016, putting together some of the best performances we've seen from a guard, playing off of an elite playmaker, and hitting some of the craziest shots. Hands down, one of the best shots a lot of people they've ever seen. With Jamal Murray, I'm not going to lie. In that Lakers series alone, him and Jokic were hitting some of the best shots I've ever seen. Like that playoff run from Jamal Murray was crazy. He was.
Damo, am I out of line?
I'm not gonna say he was as good, but he's definitely, to say he's not touching Kyrie. I would agree with you there, Bob.
That was the next question I was about to ask you, Damos. Am I out of line if I say as good a shot, as tough a shot maker as Kyrie Irving is? Can you name in the backcourt how many tough shot makers are better than Jamal Murray in the backcourt?
Kyrie's.
Outside of Kyrie, I mean, a lot of casuals would say Damian Lillard, but I don't agree. I'm thinking about tough shot. I'm not talking about just as a guard, just tough shot makers. Because Jamal Murray makes a lot of tough shots.
Maybe Ja.
Luka and
I would say Steph. I don't know about Ja.
No,
Mark did a good one with Steph.
But in terms of tough shots, I don't know about
Curry. All right,
I wouldn't say Ja either. I would say Steph. I would say those three: Steph,
Kyrie, and now Jamal. Yeah.
Wait,
Luka's a better tough shot maker.
Yeah, Luka is him.
Wow.
Nah. He ain't doing it. He's not even doing it like Jamal and Kyrie.
I just don't think Luka's a point guard. I really don't. I think he's being point guard.
He said guard.
Well, I was thinking point guard. I wasn't thinking. I was thinking just point guards.
Luka does it a different way, bro. The way Jamal Murray, Kyrie, and guys like Steph do it, bro, them dudes be doing. I'm talking about, bro. You talking about putting Jamal Murray's hands, and I'm talking about slithery, slick with the ball. I'm talking about the movements. Everything is there. Like, you just knew it, bro. Like the fluidity, all that stuff, bro. Ain't nobody got it like them three guys got it like, bro. I'm telling you.
I don't like excluding game. I don't like excluding.
You guys are undervaluing Jamal Murray, and when his career goes, God forbid, I ain't saying you. I'm saying if he don't get hurt, bro, this tear he get ready to go on for the next 4 years is gonna be scary, bro. Scary. Next 4 years for Jamal Murray.
If Jamal Murray performs like it in the playoffs in the regular season,
the next 4 years. Oh my God. Hall of Fame instantly, no question.
No doubt.
Well, that's what I'm saying though, Jalen. I don't like that. I don't like breaking down somebody's career to one playoff run. You know what I'm saying? I want to talk about their whole.
What's your question,
big ass fly.
Domo said Kyrie's not point.
Hold on, but you can't say that about Kyrie.
I think Kyrie. Kyrie's being forced to play the 2 because of the situations he's in. But that's why I think Luka's playing the 1. I think Luka's being forced to play the 1 because with Jalen Brunson, I think Luka was the 2. I don't think Jalen Brunson was the shooting guard on that team. Jalen Brunson was the point guard.
So Dallas.
I mean, if we're right though, Bob. I want you to see that one right though, Bob.
I'm sorry.
About the playoffs and regular season?
It doesn't. I'm not gonna lie.
Yes, I think Dallas is missing Kyrie and Luka. Yes, I do.
Okay. What I just said to you. What I just said to you about Kyrie. I just told you giving Kyrie credit for years he wasn't even playing 40, 50 games. You said those years up until the first 3 years in his career, did Kyrie even play 50 games?
No, 54. I think he played 54, 53 or 54 games once. The most games he played in
one was the lockout year with 66 games. So that's kind of
right. Okay, right. And then the 11-12 season, that was the lockout year. That was his second year in the league. That was his rookie year. And then the next 2 years.
Ticket gave Jamal credit for missing because of injury. How come Kyrie?
I didn't give him credit for that. I say you shouldn't. I say you can't count those years because he didn't play. Is what I said. Right. I'm saying is this. I'm saying the time he did play. The last 2 times we seen Jamal Murray playing, That nigga was balling. That nigga was he was carrying Denver in the bubble. Am I lying, Jalen? Am I lying, Damo? He was the one out there dropping. He was the reason why they beat Utah.
He's had all-time great playoff performances, Jamal Murray.
Before Murray tore up his knee, they were on their way to doing something special. So what they did this season, they was on their way to doing that before he tore his knee.
Before he tore up his knee, I think you can make an argument that the Heat was the one on that squad. You can make an argument.
He was definitely
the way he was at that point in the playoffs.
He was carrying in the playoffs. He single-handedly got them past Utah. Don't say that. He got them past Utah, and he was the one balling against the Lakers because Jokic got shut down against the Lakers. He was the one balling against the Lakers. The Lakers took Dwight Howard, the booty goon, took Jokic out of that series. Remember?
Jokic still balled out. Jamal Murray had
ball out, man. He got foul trouble every game. He got taken out of the series. Stop lying, bro.
Let me bring up that series again. I think people feel like Jokic was shut down against that Lakers.
He wasn't shut down. I think he averaged 20 a game, and if I'm not mistaken, I think he averaged like something like 20 and 9.
Pull that one up.
Something like that. I think he averaged
that's more like 20 and 7.
Yeah, and even still, we talking like Dwight Howard was primarily on him. Just so y'all know, Dwight Howard averaged, I think, like 15 minutes a game in that series.
No, but that series he went up. Remember, he ended up starting that series because he was cooking that.
He still was only averaging like 15 minutes a game.
Dwight Howard was there. He played.
That's it.
No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't.
Go look at how many.
I looked it up already. I looked it up already because I had to debate this already on Mookie's channel. So I already looked it up. I did this a couple weeks ago. So there was a game he played like 35 minutes. He played 26 minutes. He played another game. He played like 19. I don't know how many fouls, Mars.
I thought you said you looked it up. I'll look.
I didn't say I looked it up. I'm not gonna play with the trolling shit right now. I'm saying there was like four games, bro. He played
like 16 minutes a game in the playoffs that year. Something like
that. Maybe in the playoffs. I'm talking about in the series against Denver though.
Right.
I don't know how much he averaged in the whole playoffs, but in the series in Denver, there was so what did it go? 5 or 6? It went 6 games?
5.
No, it went 5.
It went 5. Okay, it went 5, and there was 3 games he played over 20 minutes.
Okay.
In one of those games, I believe he played 35 minutes.
He averaged 20 minutes a game, had 20 fouls in the series in 5 games, which means he averaged 4 fouls a game. So when I said he was there to pick up fouls, he was there to pick up fouls.
I wouldn't say he was just there to pick up fouls.
No, you said it was trolling shit. So clearly I was right, but whatever, it's fine.
All right, whatever. What I'm saying is don't start crying, but don't get.
I'm not crying.
What I'm saying is this. He might have been fouling. He might have got called for fouls, but that doesn't mean he was there to foul. Like he's playing physical defense, and you don't let him score anything easy, but that doesn't mean I'm only here to foul.
Dwight Howard played 35 minutes. Dwight Howard played 35
Bob, all I gotta say is Jamal Murray got 6 more years in his prime, bro. He's 25 years old right now.
6. Let's go higher than that. He's only gonna be 30. So 6 years be 31. No, he got more than that ticket.
Okay, so then let's say he got 7 more years in his prime. In his
How
prime.
about 8? Barring another, because
it's shit go for 9.
Bob, you're gonna look bad off this.
We talking about Damian Lillard still in his prime at 33. Jamal Murray 25. That's 8 more years.
Bob, you're gonna look bad off this one, Bob. Because you said, hold on, because of what you were saying. I'm telling you right now, this dude, bro, the trajectory that he is on right now, bro. I think he's on superstar status right now. He's on the way to superstar status after this season. I think after this season, he will be solidified as a superstar in the NBA. I think this season will solidify him as a superstar. He puts up 26 a game this year, and they're a great team again. Even though they won the championship, they're one of the better teams in the NBA. Let's say they go to the conference finals, NBA finals. I think this solidifies him as a superstar based off his performances in the finals, his performances in the playoffs, and then his performance this season and going forward. Because when did you think Kyrie Irving became a superstar? First year he played with LeBron?
And Ticket, he's never been a superstar.
And Ticket, don't let him. And don't let him.
Hold on, chill. What you say?
I don't think Kyrie Irving has ever been an actual superstar.
You don't lost to Shaq. I'm sorry. You lost to goddamn.
I'm with you.
I don't know.
I was about to ask. What is your definition of a superstar in the NBA? Because that's something where the goalpost gets moved all the time in terms of what makes
2016, 2017, Kyrie Irving was a superstar. That's not true.
But what does it mean to be a superstar?
What does it mean to be a superstar?
He was a number. Well,
go back.
Is it a top 5 player, top 10 player? Is it just a world-renowned player? What is it?
Let me ask. Is it about superstars?
Because I want to ask. Wait, I wanted to ask Ticket.
Damo skill
but he wasn't there. Ticket, you here? Ticket, you here?
Bro, man, hey man, this man had the damn nerve to say this man was putting up 27, 7, and 5 on 50, 40, 90 damn year for a stretch. And most of the teams were damn good teams that he was on. He ain't no superstar. He was the 1 or 2 guy.
With this way of thinking, with this way of thinking,
I'm about to get to that right now. Go ahead, Dub.
With this way of thinking, is Jalen Brunson a superstar to you too, Ticket?
No, well, Jalen Brunson's not a superstar to me at this point. He's on his way. Hold on. He's heading there if he continues on the trajectory that he's on. It's the trajectory that you're on, right? Right now, he's a rising star. He's a star in the NBA. He's rising. He's a young star. Can he get to superstar status? It depends on can he take his game to another level. Bro, I've seen Kyrie Irving take his game to extreme upper room levels. That is superstar stuff. That is when you become a superstar. When you become a superstar, you can take your game and elevate your game to levels that other players can't. And Kyrie Irving can do that. He is the goods. He can do that. We've seen that on the highest level. So I don't want to hear nothing else. And we've seen the consistency of him playing at a very extremely high level. Now, the things that got in between it, his personal issues and stuff like that, okay, maybe you can use that against him for him not being on the court for certain situations with teams not working out. But don't you guys say that when you guys are the same dudes in here that was swearing up and down that if him and KD would have stayed together, they would have probably had a chance to win the chip last year. So, I mean, that would have meant that would hold on. Listen what I'm saying. Hold on. I'm saying a superstar is a guy, for one, who's box office, which Kyrie is. For two, who's one of the elite scorers in the game, as far as not only just being able to put the ball in the rack, but your effect on the game, which Kyrie Irving shows he has a great effect on the game. He's not a loser. You know what I'm saying? He's shown that he can be with teams and lead teams that had winning records. He was doing that in Boston until he got hurt. They probably go to the NBA Finals that year if he doesn't get hurt. Then he went back to Boston again. They had a pretty good record the very next year, but they got cracked, I think, in the second round in the playoffs, if I'm not mistaken. Everybody called that a failure because you've seen Kyrie Irving going to the finals. Then you're with the Brooklyn Nets. You're putting up 27 something. You're the number two seed in the NBA. Their team didn't want to pay you, so you asked for a trade. Now all of a sudden, Kyrie Irving ain't no superstar. Cut it out, bro. Cut it out.
Can I ask you, Ticket, how many superstars are in the NBA then?
Probably about 9, 10.
So you have Kyrie Irving as a top 10 player in the NBA?
No, he's just one of the 10 superstars. That don't mean you're a top 10 player because
you can be worse than someone being.
Hold on, listen. If you're a superstar versus where you're playing at a certain moment, you can't judge that the same. Like, it's dudes that are superstars but may not be playing. Like, for example, you think LeBron James is a superstar, but you might not think he's a top 5 guy in the league. But he's still a superstar. So, but that's not might be where you rank him that year based off of how everybody else is playing. Like Shea may have a better season than LeBron James, but LeBron's still a superstar and Shea ain't. See what I'm saying? Something like that. It's like that season, you may rank Shea higher than LeBron based off how he played, but you still consider LeBron James a superstar, but Shea played at a higher level. So I'm going to give you the superstars because it is 10. Steph Curry, superstar. LeBron James, superstar. Anthony Davis, superstar. Giannis Antetokounmpo, superstar. What's old boy's name? Jokic, superstar. Goddamn Kyrie Irving, superstar. Luka Doncic, superstar. Kevin Durant, superstar.
Jason Tatum.
Joel.
Oh, yeah. Hold on. Yep. Jason Tatum, superstar. I hate to say his name, but I gotta say his name. Joel Embiid, superstar. Also, it's still 2 more I can name. Kawhi Leonard, superstar. Even though I don't like naming him, he hurt all the time. I gotta tell the truth. Superstar.
What about
and then hold on. No, he's not. The reason why Dame Dollar's not a The reason why Dame Dollar's not a superstar anymore. He was a superstar. The reason why he's not a superstar The reason why he's not a superstar anymore is because since CJ McCollum left, the impact on that team has not been the same. See what I'm saying? So to me, those other guys have proven to me that they can do more in certain situations. Like, for example, if you're trying to win a game and you got Dame and you got Kyrie, who you getting the ball to? Like, that matters to me if you're a superstar or not too. Like if I got Dame and Kyrie on the same team, and again the game is on the wood, and me and Chill Town are all in the huddle, and Chill, let's say that Dub is the coach. Who you drawing up to play for, Dub? Who you drawing up that last play for, Dub?
Who do you think?
Dub. NBA Finals on the road, Game 7 in the Oracle. Who Tyronn Lue said we gonna shoot this last goddamn shot right here?
Oh, Kyrie.
Goddamn superstar.
Yeah, but you can say that with a couple of the other guys you put on that list though. With the couple
I was just about to say that, Mars.
With the couple other guys you put on that list, you can say the 11 same thing. You're giving
no, that's hold on. That's an example. Hold on. That's a perfect example. I have Jimmy Butler rated in the top 10, but I don't rate Jimmy Butler as a superstar right now. I have him rated, and I had him rated as a superstar last year, but he kind of fell back to me a little bit because of what happened this past the postseason run. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
He lost it, man.
So on that list, who are you not giving the ball to?
I think Jimmy's run was small. I got to be honest with you. Some dudes have a small period of time that they're a superstar. I thought T-Mac had a small period of time he was a superstar in the NBA. I thought T-Mac was only a superstar in the NBA for 3 or 4 years. And in the other years, he kind of fell
off your superstar list because he took a play-in team to the finals and lost?
No, you're not hearing me. Because of his performance, the way he played, the way he looks, and the trajectory that it seems like his game is going to go going forward. To me, Jimmy Butler's 33 years old, 34 years old?
He'll be 35 next season.
At 35? To me, Jimmy ain't going to, that's why Miami's desperate looking for guys. Because I don't think that, that's why I wish Jimmy would have got the chip now. Because I think that he's going to be a guy that you see kind of dip because he's getting older, bro. When you get older like that, bro, the guard position, bro, kind of hard.
The chicken said KD.
Yeah, he did say KD.
Yeah,
was LeBron not a superstar in 2012 then, after the 2011 finals?
Yeah, well, LeBron was a superstar. It's based off more than just one thing, too. I'm just saying, it's a like I said, it ain't just where you rank that year. It's also your body of work, too. And LeBron's body of work over a large period of time proved he was a superstar. So, for example, Kyrie Irving's body of work.
He went to the finals and then underperformed dramatically, like a crazy collapse in 2012. But proven by the very next season, he was still a superstar.
Was Kyrie Irving the top 10 in the at the end of the 2017 season? Was Kyrie Irving the top 10 player in the NBA?
Mm-hmm. And you would have had to say
possibly.
You would have had to say that. There ain't no way.
At the end of the 2017 season, because as of right now, is Anthony Davis a superstar?
Yeah,
to me,
he has to be a superstar. Because I'm gonna tell you why AD is a superstar. AD is a superstar because he's one of the elite defenders in the world. Can't take it away from him. He's one of the best defenders in the world. Easily could have been a multiple Defensive Player of the Year award winner. And AD is one of the best skilled big men on earth. Listen, I think he's soft. I think he's Terry Claw. But he's one of the most skilled offensive big men on earth. He's a rare breed in the where he can play in the post, face you up, hit the midi. You understand what I'm saying? He's basically unstoppable offensively. And he can stop you at an elite level defensively. That's a superstar, bro. Period.
I think you embody what the crew is. When I think about a superstar, I think you embody what the crew is. I think that you're a franchise player. I think that what we do in terms of winning depends on you. I think you perform at that level on the regular, both in the regular season and in the postseason. I think those things constitute you being a superstar.
I agree with you. Like a guy like Paul George, he's a star. He's not a superstar. Paul George can't do what Kyrie do. Like Paul George can't elevate. He can't take it to that level Kyrie take it to. That level Kyrie take it to, Paul George have shown you great levels, but he can't get to that level we seeing Kyrie get to. Like that level we saw Kyrie get to in the NBA Finals, I have yet to see Paul George take it there. I want to see him take it there, but I have yet to see him take it there. That's why he's a star in the NBA. Same thing like James Harden. Like James Harden, he had a stretch where he was a superstar. That stretch in Houston, James Harden was a superstar. Now he's not.
To answer your question, Mars, I feel like 2017 he was there. He was an integral part of what they were doing. In the process of him being an integral part of what they were doing, he was performing in the regular season. He performed in the postseason, and he was an integral part of what they were doing in terms of trying to win an NBA championship.
Watch his
and he was a franchise player because he was the number 1 overall pick in the draft. James comes over there, and James is the better player. I won't ignore that fact, Mars. James was the better player, but he was their franchise player before James went over there. James elevated his game.
I prove a point to you right now. Now look at Bob. If De'Aaron Fox would go out here this year and average 28 a game and win a championship, Bob will come here tomorrow and say he's a superstar. That solidifies him as a superstar. If De'Aaron Fox this season comes out and puts up 27, 28 a game, and they win the NBA Finals, he's a superstar. Period. They out here calling John Morant a superstar right now.
Everybody that wins it ain't necessarily a superstar. Now I'll probably say that just because I love De'Aaron. Just because I heard what you said, bro. I heard what you said. What I'm saying, I heard what you said, Ticket. What I'm saying is that I might say that just because it's De'Aaron Fox, like it's De'Aaron Fox, and I won't be able to help myself. I'm gonna be like, nah, he the best. I damn near be like he the best player in the NBA. But that's me and that's De'Aaron, you know. I mean, but if you average 28 in the finals, that's superstars. That's superstar type ball.
I'm saying if you putting up 27, 28 during the season and he closed the deal, they win the chip, and he's on top. He's a superstar. I'm gonna say, listen, Paul Pierce solidified superstar.
That is
when he won the chip in the finals
right
MVP.
there.
Hold on, let me say this to you, and then look across the board, bro. All you gotta do is continue to look at the players who turned into superstars. We saw Jason Tatum turn from a star into a superstar player. We literally saw it.
When did that happen? When did that happen?
This season.
No. When he took his team to the NBA Finals is when he turned to superstar.
So last year, okay.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at Jason being a superstar. I'm cool with that. I'm just want to know when did the light switch.
So is John Morant a superstar?
John Morant's more of a superstar by like name and by like the wow factor. But as far as his brand, I think John Morant was on the trajectory to building a superstar brand, no doubt. But I don't know. I'm not sure what y'all criteria.
No, I ain't talking about. I'm talking about his game. I'm talking about 27 points a game. I'm talking about the game.
I don't think Jalen Brown's a superstar, and he's putting up 25, 26, 27 points a game.
To Ticket's point, in 2001, at the end of the 2001 season, when the Los Angeles Lakers walked through the playoffs and smoked everybody, Kobe Bryant solidified himself as a superstar that season.
What year was that?
2000, when they beat the Philadelphia 76ers, he solidified himself as a superstar that season. If Jamal Murray plays up to the level that he played up to this year, where he's 23, 24 game, and it gets elevated again in the playoffs, and they win the NBA championship, he will be regarded as a superstar.
That's facts. You have to. I mean, when you look at those duos, you look at them like that, bro. And listen, I gave you 11. I still think it's 3 more superstars in the NBA. I still think it's 3 more guys that you can see as superstars in the NBA. And you guys, some of you guys will fight me on that. But, I mean, it is what it is. I just think that when you look at the level of some of these guys, man, like Damo thinks it's only 3 or 4. I heard Damo sit here and say it's only, 4 or 5.
You never heard me say that.
You said, no, you
how many superstars do you think are in the NBA, Damo?
Right now?
Today, August of 2023, how many superstars are in the NBA?
Mm-hmm.
8, 9 off the top of my head, 8, 9.
And what is your criteria for being a superstar?
The ability to be the best player on an actual good team, like on a contending team.
Your
also having franchise player while
Okay.
also having some sort of marketability off the court.
Okay, you box office. Okay.
Box office and franchise player. That's really what determines it for me.
That was Kyrie Irving in 2017. 100%.
And Ticket, if you saying there's 3 more superstars in the league and you're not gonna put Dame in there, bro, this is disingenuous.
No, it's not, because first of all, hold on. First of all, I'm gonna say it like this. The reason why I told you that is because since CJ McCollum left, I seen the drop off. I seen the slippage with that team. So it shows me that CJ had a bigger effect on that team than what we thought originally. Again, and I'm gonna say this again, bro. Again, even in the bigger moments in the playoffs, CJ McCollum was having the biggest moments. Now, Dame hit a shot that we all remember over Paul George. But for most of those playoff series where they were having success, CJ McCollum was the one dancing with the stars out there, putting up and getting those series home when they was at the biggest moments in those playoff series. It was CJ. Dame was out there getting his ass absolutely annihilated by Klay Thompson one year without Steph Curry. And then the next year, Steph Curry just was averaging 36 on this guy, and KD wasn't nowhere in sight. And Dame was putting up 20 points a game that series. It was an absolute sham. So I've seen those situations, bro. Like I said, to me, you can't be a superstar if your game go down when the moments get big. When the moments get the biggest, that's when your game has to get bigger. You can do all this stuff you want to do during the regular season. But then when it comes time in the playoffs, when it's time to deliver the goods, no, you have to be able to. That's why I think Joel Embiid's superstar status is on trial this year. Because if he come out this year and do something again like he did the last couple years, where he averaging 30 during the season, and then the playoffs, man come out and put up 21, we're going to take that superstar status off him. That got to come off him immediately.
I got some super chats to read off, fellas. Football breakdown. Damo got robbed. Judges felt bad. LOL.
Yeah.
Supreme Chef Kobe, member for another month. Appreciate you for joining the fam, brother.
Brother.
Yes, sir. He sent another super chat, actually. James Harden is the Aaron Rodgers of the NBA.
No, he ain't.
No, he's not.
He's stuck with Green Bay for years. This is his first.
Yeah, no, he ain't. Not even close. No, it's not. No.
That's so disrespectful to Aaron Rodgers.
Real.
That's actually funny. Donovan Samuels, it's simple. If it's not in writing, it's not official. The business is going to do what's best for them in the end.
Fact.
So I tried to tell you that yesterday, Jalen. I tried to tell you that yesterday.
I get it. Business is business, but a handshake between men is still a handshake between two men with
not in the $billion industry.
Until it's on paper, Jalen. Until it's on paper, Jalen, we don't have a deal.
This is how much of a damn fool Jalen Carter is. And I'm going to put your ass on blast, you LeBron James, jockstrap sniffer. I'm going to tell you how bad of a fool this boy is. Bob, now check this out now. Jalen Carter is a type of idiot. He'll sit up here and tell you, Bob, he'll pay you to paint a house. And if you paint half the house, he still feel like he got to pay you all the money he agreed to pay you. So James Harden, you have to drive. No. We're not going to do that. That's exactly what happened. James Harden get half the job. And you out here talking about somebody did him wrong because they ain't pay him the full money. Make it the hell out of here. We had an agreement.
I'm gonna tell you why you're wrong, Ticket. I'm gonna tell you why you're wrong, Ticket. If we have an agreement as men, okay, let's do some painting analogy. All right, let me try to break down this painting analogy here. All right. So if I tell you, hold up. So if I tell you, all right, you know what? I tell you, you're a new business guy. This kid wants to, get it off the ground. He'd be like, all right, you know what? For this job, I'll pay you a little more. Give me a discount on the second one. All right, or give me a discount on the second or third one. I'm like, all right, and we give a little handshake agreement as man to man. You know what? I'm gonna pay you a little more first one, second or third one. Give me a little break. Now, if he breaks it, he's just gonna lose the business on the second or third one. So it's bad. So it's a bad situation. He's creating a worse situation for him for getting further business. So with Daryl Morey, now if other players come along, they gonna understand what he did to Harden. It's gonna affect their situation. So sure, maybe I might have got a little 20% early, but the second and third time you're losing out on the back.
Hey, what did he do? Hold on, Jalen.
He didn't do nothing to him, Jalen. And on top of it, like I was saying yesterday, Jalen. This is a $1 billion industry. We're not shaking no hands and going home. I'm gonna call my lawyer. You call your lawyer. We're gonna get this paperwork done. And then when you owe me, you owe me. Give me my money. I don't want to hear we at the bar talking. Hey, take it out, James. If you take a pay cut, we'll sign PJ. We'll sign House. And then look, in a couple seasons, I got you, bro. I got you. What? I'm going for that.
Bob,
I'm the dummy.
Bob, that's the same thing. Bob, that's the same thing that happened. That's the same thing that happened with Andre. That's the same thing happened with Andre Drummond when he went to the Lakers. When Andre Drummond went to the Lakers, was up for that big contract. The Lakers told Andre Drummond they was gonna pay him. When he came and played like trash, Andre Drummond didn't get another payday afterwards. He never got paid.
This is a $1 billion.
He didn't do the job, Bob. That's why.
If you talking about man to man, Jalen, you gotta understand. As a man, I have to fulfill my duties, right? If I don't fulfill my duties and expect the same reward, that's entitlement. That's not being a man. You just feel entitled off of your name alone. That's not how life works. So James Harden wanting to get paid off of him not completing his task, that doesn't make sense. That's not.
I don't think his performance was ever predicated on whether he was going to get paid or not. He wasn't going to.
Why would it not be, Jalen?
Always.
No. His game the deal he had with Daryl Morey was not predicated on his performance in the playoffs. That's not what was agreed upon. I get basketball wise it matters, but the deal they had wasn't predicated on his performance in the playoffs. It was they had a deal. They know the player he was. They knew who James Harden is. They're going to pay him for what James Harden is, not what he did in that series against Boston.
But just like with these analogies y'all keep coming up with, like that's not even the same thing, Jalen. That's like it's like if I send my sons to the store, I'm like, here, take this dub. If you get back here in 30 minutes, you can keep the change. If they come back 4 hours later, like, oh, we were playing, and I'm like, yo, I'm thirsty. Where my lemonade at? Give me my change. Like, I'm not paying you to do something if you don't do it. Like, that's crazy, Jalen.
And on top of that, to leave out the most important part of the deal, which is the postseason. That's what we got you here for. That's the biggest part of the deal. We can't leave that part out. Well, if you do work in the regular season, that's fantastic. But if you suck in the playoffs, there's no big deal. We're still going to pay you max money. Jalen, nobody is agreeing to that.
I'm still going to give you $50 million a year.
So he left Brooklyn to do what with Philly? To win a chip.
That's what he got there for.
I hear you. I just think the deal he had with Murray wasn't predicated on his performance in the playoffs. He had to deal with him to get him paid, give him that max, whatever it is, and he backed out.
And he had a deal to get him paid, and the deal was James Harden had to do his part too. We're not leaving anything out of James Harden on this. Nobody is.
James Harden still gave you 20 and 10 regular season and a 40 game in the playoffs. So it's not like he didn't do nothing.
The tickets analogy, you only painted half the house.
Hey, he still had a game or two in the playoffs.
He might have painted 60% of the house.
So I painted half the house and I painted the bathroom.
He did it one coating.
What's our expectation of Harden in the playoffs?
He just did one coat. He said, "I'm done."
Do we expect the second coat from James Harden in the playoffs? Do we expect the second coat from James Harden?
If you know how to paint, you know that one coating job is terrible work. Terrible.
Did he at least it ain't like you slapped the paint on. You ain't even do it right. You just slapped it on.
But we knew that was. Hold on. But if you knew that was what he was going to do, and he still hired him, what is it? If you knew that was what he was going to do,
how did he know that he was going to do that though, Jalen? Like,
because it's James Harden. You know James Harden tried to.
No, Damo.
Not you.
I hope you know that's no, Jalen. I hope you know that is entitlement. That is the very definition of entitlement. Just because you're always a slacker, even though I pay you because you tell me that you're not going to be the same guy, you should just deal with it because you know who I am. That's entitlement.
That's fair. You know what? That's fair. Okay, so he feels he's entitled to that money, sure. But Daryl Morey agreed with him too, then backed out. You can't agree with paying him, knowing who he is, knowing he's entitled, and then backing out.
That's what contracts are for, Jalen. That's why we signed contracts.
I hear you. But they also took a discount, which was technically illegal too, and they got fined for that. They got a pick taken away because of that.
Oh man!
Hey, hold on, Dub. I got some breaking news for y'all, man. I got some breaking James Harden news. So in that picture, I gotta ask y'all a question before I tell y'all this. In that picture, that video you showed, did James Harden look like he's in shape?
No.
I
His agent just did an interview.
Like me.
His agent just did an interview. I'm watching right now. His agent just did an interview. And his agent said that James Harden is in the best shape of basically he's saying he's in the best shape he's been in a while. Hold on, listen. He said that he got with his nutritionist. He said that his nutritionist, James Harden been doing hours of cardio, getting up, doing 7 a.m. workouts, 3-hour workouts in the morning. He has the top chef, and that James Harden's gonna have an MVP level season this year.
Yeah, the MVP level season.
I mean, that's his agent. What do you want him to say? Yeah, my client is fat. Like, no, he's supposed to say that.
Hey, what kind of what? I mean, cardio, it is kind of a workout. Throwing money in the air.
He can be skipping. He can be swimming.
Nah, we gotta see a side angle, man. That don't look.
I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for it.
If the gut is pushing out more than the chest, we got a problem.
And he ate all them trail burgers, by the way. I want to make sure we clear on that. Them burgers that he took from dude.
His hand is resting on his stomach right there.
That's okay.
No, it's not.
I will say, he don't let that beard get full to hide them cheeks, though. I know them cheeks.
That's facts.
Them cheeks is puffing out, man. He let that beard.
The beard is hiding it. The beard is definitely hiding it. I'm with you there.
I can see the stomach line through the shirt. You see it right there?
But he's clearly not like terribly out of shape, but he's just not in optimal.
I don't know.
Athletic condition.
I don't know. That one right there isn't a good angle. We got to see the side.
I mean, we've seen this before where it looks like his stomach is just poking out, and then 2 games later, he's in the best shape of his life. It could be all water. Let's be real. It could be water weight. He's just cutting it like a UFC.
Loaded from a Chinese buffet or something. Could have a lot of
could have been the fact that we're talking about a guy like the fact that we're talking about a guy at the level of James Harden, his diet and his conditioning and him being in shape says a lot about the player, which is why he isn't as successful as he should be. So now when you hear people saying stuff like cheating the game, did James Harden cheat the game?
He cheating up meals.
No, I don't think he's ever cheated the game because he doesn't miss games. He doesn't get hurt often, right? So he plays a lot of games. when he's not on the court, I don't think he's ever given up. He might miss the shots, but I don't think he never stops to, he's never given up on a game. So I don't think he's ever cheated the game.
Has he given and being out there, that's one thing. But being able to perform at what you need to be able to perform at, that's something completely different. So because of that,
he never. Oh, my bad. Go ahead, Chill. My bad.
So because of that, did when you watch James Harden, did everything that needed to be done get done with him?
Probably not, but it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard for me to think of a guy that was like dropping 35, 33 points in the season, playing at that level, like cheating the game in my mind. The postseason is a different story, but he was playing at a crazy high level for a good minute.
You can have poor performances and not cheat the game. You can have poor performances and not cheat the game. You just had a bad performance.
I don't know if he's cheating the game if he's doing that.
Like where he was drafted, he exceeded his expectations, and he's one of the pillars of guys who's. I mean, like it or
what
not,
expectations did James Harden have coming into the league?
He was drafted
not to be an MVP, not to be this level of a player.
He was the fourth pick in the draft.
Not to be drafted
number 3.
How many guys that are getting drafted as the 4th pick in the draft expected to be a multi-MVP conversational, changing the game for a generation type of player? That's not normal for a number 4 pick. Look at the history of number 4 picks. All of them don't get that kind of expectations. They don't reach that surface. Look at the history of the last 10 number 3 picks. How many of those guys have had the expectations or even been at the level of what James Harden was in his prime or even now?
I mean, coming out of Arizona State, though, James Harden was he was like that. I think what happened with James Harden, I think he was kind of kind of burned by business. I think he changed his mindset. Kind of like what happened with OKC.
Good player, but a Hall of Fame, a legit MVP candidate, year in, year out, franchise guy, should be a guy that's trying to fight for a title. But hey, that maybe he cheated the game there where he wasn't giving it his all to try to win. But in terms of what he did for the game of basketball, there's no top 3 pick that is expected.
He literally cheated the game of basketball because he kept doing foul baiting rules. So they had to change it to make sure he stopped cheating.
Is that cheating the game if you study the rules? We hear guys like Gilbert Arenas and other guys talk about,
cheating.
Hey, Kobe Bryant, I studied the rules.
Play straight up, bro. You cheating the game, bro.
What do you mean play straight up? We have rules for a reason.
Shit, man.
The refs are here to enforce the rules, and I'm going to learn the rules of basketball, and I'm going to explain
he literally cheated. He literally cheated the game. They had to make rules so he stopped cheating the game.
No, he didn't cheat the game. He optimized the situation where he took advantage of some of the rules that were there. That's not cheating the game. That's just doing what
taking advantage. He's cheating. But Chill, I do agree. I wouldn't say cheating the game. I do think you're on along the point of what Damo just said, where he didn't take it as serious as he should have, in my opinion.
You can say that about Shaq too, though.
He didn't take winning serious. He took the game serious. He took playing basketball serious. He didn't take winning serious.
That dude was more. He took strip club serious.
Bro, you don't average 30 in the NBA without taking it serious. I'm sorry. I don't care how good you are.
Wait, Dub, you think Shaq cheated the game? You think Shaq cheated the game?
I don't think any of them cheated the game.
Okay, that's okay.
I just don't think they took it as serious as they should.
Okay, yeah. So Shaq didn't take it as serious as some of the elite players. Okay, that's fair.
All right. We get some more super chats. Ime got Nia Long back, and he about to go deep in the PO.
That's a fact.
You
see how he got that? You see how he got that contract? As soon as he got that contract, she said, "Well, the job opportunities are slowing up. You know what I'm saying? I ain't really getting no movies no more. I ain't on TV. Got to go on back to email who strokes. Yes, sir.
There's a saying. Girls heal like Wolverine after that cheating. When that money they forget a lot and come back quick.
Made that big fuss just to come right back. So yeah, like I said before, man, Ime won. Ime got a fat contract. He got a new situation in Houston. He got a young player. Only thing he got wrong is Dylan Brooks and the other twin down there that's running around. Well, I ain't gonna say all that, but
they're gonna turn that around in Houston too.
I'm sure he would still much rather be in Boston. I don't think one is the proper term. I think he was better off in Boston.
I agree with you, Bob. But I'm gonna say this: the seat would have got hot on him if he wouldn't have won a chip the next year or two.
If he wouldn't have won it this year.
Yeah, or next year. If he would have won a chip this year or this next year coming up, their seat would have been so they'd have probably tried to get rid of him after that.
That's a fact.
Him going to this situation with lower expectations and having a bigger contract and then being in Houston, man.
I want to know what the expectation of a lottery pick is. A top 5 lottery pick. What's the expectation on a guy like that?
Yeah,
I think it depends on what team you go to. What franchise you go
like,
to?
Like a good. Okay, so top 5 pick, a good player.
Can't hear you, Damo. Can't hear you,
Damo. You talking, brother?
You muted, Damo.
Oh, no.
Muted,
Oh, no.
muted.
I know I'm muted. I was talking out loud. I'm a psychopath. I was looking back since 2010. I was looking at all the number 3 picks since 2010.
Yep.
And I'm not going to lie to you. I want to say from 2015 going forward is when it started to pick up in terms of number 3 picks actually producing. But we're talking guys like Otto Porter, Enes Kanter, Derek Favors, Jahlil Okafor. Then you get to 2015.
But those guys' expectations was, especially Jahlil, they had real expectations.
They had real expectations. I understand completely. I'm not saying the expectations weren't high. Again, saying the guy should be Bradley Beal was another one who had expectations, but to be an all-star, to be a guy that helped you win. But I don't know how many of those guys that was drafted was, okay, we're going to build this team around this guy. I would say Joel Embiid was probably one of those guys. I don't think Bradley Beal was not a guy they were saying, oh, yeah, we're going to build. You're the corner. You're the franchise player coming in. No, they had John Wall. They had
that was correct. Yeah, he was on the crew. That's correct. He was.
A lot of these guys, most of the time when you get to the 3rd pick, the Celtics went back-to-back years going Jason Tatum, Jalen Brown, then Jason Tatum. With Jalen Brown, he was an incomplete player coming into the league. He had talent, he had athleticism, but the skill wasn't. His handle was 12 times worse than what it is now. So it wasn't like he was expected to be this franchise guy. He was a piece. So it depends on the pick. I'm not saying James Harden didn't have expectations, but coming into the league, again, going to that Thunder team as well, he was expected to be an all-star, be a guy to help the process of a Kevin Durant, of a Westbrook, and be a part of that unit. But he was not expected to be Hall of Fame level player.
Well, of course,
top of line player. But I did see somebody say, "Oh, how many guys do you expect to be Hall of Famers when they're picked?" I mean, hell, look at the expectation for Wemby. Look at the expectation for the number 1 pick is typically a Hall of Famer, depending on how good they are. If a guy falls to number 2 or number 3, if they're still top tier, top of the line talent, you still would assume they're going to have some crazy career. People are putting crazy expectations on Scoot Henderson, aren't they? So I'm just trying to figure out with James Harden, he wasn't expected to be the level of a guy that he was. He exceeded his expectations, truly.
Because he's more than just an all-star guy. Because of the crew that he got drafted to. That's why. Because Kevin Durant was already there. Because Russell Westbrook was already there. That's why that's why. Now, if he goes to Sacramento, right? If he ends up with, I don't know, Memphis, I think the expectations on him are a little bit higher because they don't have that level of talent on that crew that they had when you're talking about Oklahoma City, which is what they were building. Same thing with Jason Tatum. Well, Jason Tatum, that was a good team he got drafted to. It wasn't like the Celtics were destitute where they were at the bottom of the Eastern Conference. No, that was a damn good team. He just added to that. That's all that was. Now, when Lonzo Ball got drafted, was he the number 2 or the number 3 pick?
He was number 2.
Okay, because I was thinking about, but LaMelo Ball, for an example. LaMelo Ball, when he gets drafted to the Charlotte Hornets, he's their franchise player.
Yeah, franchise player.
He's 100% their franchise player. Now, if he gets drafted somewhere else where they have something and he's just the missing piece, he's not expected to do there what he's expected to do when he's in Charlotte.
So you would say that the expectations is based off the team that he's drafted to. So you would assume a guy like Tyreek Evans, he had higher expectations going into his rookie year than James Harden?
Yes.
Yes, and the reason why because go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, what about, if you're saying yes to that, what about Ricky Rubio and Johnny Flynn? They have high expectations going to Minnesota than James Harden did going to OKC?
I think Minnesota, I'm so glad Steph Curry didn't go there. That was a shit organization, and I'm so glad that they didn't go there because they had no idea what they were doing. None. So in terms of the expectations, we didn't even have any expectations on why they were drafted. What are you guys expecting to get with both of these guys?
So expectation though was like Steve Nash. Like he was expected to be a
he was going to be a prodigy. Yeah, they were calling him a prodigy.
MVP. Yeah, he was the MVP expectation for a rookie.
But that was on him. That had nothing to do with the team. That was the hype on him coming into the league. Just like with Porzingis, when Porzingis was getting hyped up, which it kind of happened like literally as soon as the draft process started. This hype for Porzingis came up. It didn't matter where Porzingis went. The way they were hyping him up, he was going to get some level of high expectations because how people was talking about him. It could have been the Knicks. It could have been whatever team drafted him. They were going to have high expectations for him. So I can concede and say 100% it definitely matters what team you go to. So if we're going to say, oh, James Harden's expectations weren't as high because he was going to a stacked young team, 100% fair. I still believe James Harden's career, and again, whoever said in the chat that I could concede to that, and that's fair too. How many guys outside of the 1 or 2 pick or guys that weren't highly touted going into the draft are you expecting to be Hall of Famers? 100% fair. But two things can be true. We could have not expected him to be that because it's not normal, but at the same time, he's still outperformed what we expected him to be.
Right.
Got you. Go read off some members real quick. D Money became a member.
D Money, what up, brother?
Al Booga became a member. OBG Kenobi Dub. Why you always get to crying, complaining during the debates? It's because people like you keep funding me, man. So I appreciate it.
Thank you.
BJ became a member and Meki became a member. Appreciate all you guys for pulling up, being part of the PC fam, man. Now let's get off some super chats. Why, when KD played with former All-Stars, is automatically considered a super team, but no one considers Lakers 2021 or either LA teams with Russ? With KD, CP3 made a super team, but with Golden State, he's not? Question mark.
Wait, hold on. I think KD, with a lot of superstars he's played, they've been closer to their primes. A lot of other guys. So 2020, you got to bring out Russell Westbrook.
Don't defend your GOAT now.
No, I mean, hold on. Just you don't get to count.
Russ just had a triple-double season and went to LA.
But you know it's not. You know Westbrook wasn't in his prime. Dwight Howard and Rondo clearly weren't in their prime. But with KD, Bradley Beal is still in. You can say the back end of his prime, but still prime. No, CP3 clearly not. But Devin Booker still in his prime. DeAndre Ayton, a young player. So there's still differences in when you join a team of what ages the superstar are and where they are in their careers. It's very different. KD just feel like guys in the prime.
I feel like it depends on what you define as a super team because no matter how great the 1 and 2 are, I feel like the rest of the team matters. Personally, I don't think that 2020 Lakers team was a super team. I think they were a really good team. I don't think they were a super team. A lot of these teams where Kevin Durant goes, he's going there with multiple superstar players, all-star players, Hall of Fame, whatever it is. He's going there with multiple players. That Lakers 2021 or 2022 team, look, depending on what you viewed as Russell Westbrook, depending on how you view Russell Westbrook, will determine if you viewed it as a super team or not. Me personally, with very low expectations of Westbrook, I didn't think that was a super team. But people who still held Westbrook highly touted and thought he was a premier guard in the league, you thought that was a super team. So it really depends on how you view these players. You're saying, oh, well, Kevin Durant played with Chris Paul and the Sun. Well, Kevin Durant went to the Warriors and they were a super team, but Chris Paul goes there and they're not. Chris Paul is 46. So no, Chris Paul going to the Warriors, I don't think makes them a super team because he's just not, like Jalen said, he's nowhere near his prime.
No, he was saying Kevin Durant joins Chris Paul on the Suns and Kevin Durant's made another super team. But when Chris Paul joins Steph Curry on Golden State, no one says Steph Curry has another super team.
Okay, I've seen it backwards. Okay, hey man, you're right on that one. Fuck the Suns.
Look, the greatness of Kevin Durant also plays a factor where like him joining a team with all-star caliber players will just make him a super team because of who he is. Right? So that also plays a factor.
Okay, cool. Bennett was not a bust, but he had no expectations.
That's not true.
That's not true.
That is so not true.
Drafted
That's the
number
most
one.
ridiculous thing ever. That's one of the most ridiculous statements ever. You're not the number 1 overall pick in the draft, and we're going, well, we'll just see what happens with this guy. What?
I think we also expected it to be at least 15-8. At worst, 15-8. Still have a 10-year NBA career for the guy.
If you're a lottery pick and you don't play more than 4 years or have any competent season, you're a bust regardless of what you're.
Interesting.
You're a bust regardless.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't get what I didn't agree with that comment at all. YSM Money breaking news. Woj, FYF Sports has finalized a deal with the Shanghai Talk Sports podcast, trading Lamont for a bucket of extra crispy and a 6-pack. Shout out to YSM, man. The Pool and Dre WTF became members, bro. Appreciate you guys. Peace to the panel. KY and Jamal are Kai and Jamal are Mamba Academy alumni.
Yep. They were there. Mm-hmm.
Bobby 7 became a member. Appreciate you, brother. Also, Snowbird Sneakers. Kyrie not a superstar. Come on, Damo.
I don't think he was a super. I think he was a great player. You could be an all-star, not a superstar. I didn't agree with Ticket's point of elevating his game. There's got to be plenty of all-stars to elevate their game. Make them a superstar.
On a championship team?
Yeah. That finals performance with Kyrie was
I gotta think of what All Stars on the championship team that. Actually, nah. I mean, the guys that I was immediately thinking of, no. But a team with championship expectations or a team that
no. A team that actually won it.
Was Klay Thompson ever a superstar?
No.
Is Jamal Murray better than Klay Thompson?
I don't think so. I would rather have Klay than Jamal Murray, but I can understand people saying Jamal's better.
I think Jamal has peaked higher in the playoffs than Klay.
And we're talking about peak for peak, right? We're talking about
Klay Thompson at his best and Jamal Murray at his best. He's a better player.
Well, we haven't seen Jamal Murray at his best. We don't
the
know
best
what
we've
Jamal
seen
Murray
so far. The best we've seen so far.
Klay Thompson.
What's the sample size I could use for games?
Whatever you want. You get the best version of. You get the best season of Klay Thompson, and you get the best season Jamal Murray's had. Who's the better player?
I'm taking Klay.
I'm gonna over. I'll probably overvalue Jamal's playoff elevation. I'll take Jamal.
I'll take Klay Thompson.
I think the offensive production is pretty similar from what they've shown, but that defensive gap is just crazy on Klay's end compared to those two players. I know I'm the guy that said Klay's defense is being overrated, but Klay's defense compared to Jamal Murray, there is a clear gap.
I don't think Klay's.
I see what Mars is doing. The problem that we having is Mars is putting Klay Thompson in that same category with championships. So when they win the NBA championship in 2015, Klay Thompson is he on his way to being a superstar? Possibly. Then what they do in 2016 when they lose in the finals, and then they get KD. So he drops down to the number 3 guy on that unit. He doesn't stay where he was before they got that addition. So because he drops down to that, I don't think he was in that conversation anymore. Even though he was on a championship team.
I think Jamal is just a tough player to rank right now because in the regular season he's not that 27 and 27 5-5 that guy with the efficiency he had in the playoffs. But again,
we don't know that yet. We just got him back this season.
Exactly.
We don't know that yet.
So if he does that this year, he hasn't shown that yet in the regular season. It's just the last 2 playoff runs that he was a part of. He's been incredible. Like his playoff elevation has been insane. Right. So we just have to, once we set in the regular season, then it's a lot easier to I guess properly rank him. So we have a bigger sample size.
Right.
Got you. Dame not a superstar, but Kyrie is. Kick him, please, from Jameer Toussaint.
Yeah, that's crazy. If you think Kyrie's a superstar, I would think you would have to think Dame's a superstar.
Global became a YouTube member. Appreciate you, brother. Superstars have brands that thrive outside of the NBA. From McDube. McDube with another one.
Yeah, Kyrie's shoes really sell. People love Kyrie.
And by the way,
there's some good shoes though.
I was just about to say, Jalen. It was. I think James, Jordan. There was a time when James and Jordan were the only ones moving more units than Kyrie Irving at Nike.
Yeah,
he was the only 2 dudes. Nobody else was moving units like Kyrie Irving at Nike.
Yep.
Who else?
And the reason why I know that is because my brother's a sneakerhead and he's a.
I mean, personally, I don't like those shoes. Like wearing them, I'm not a big fan of them. But
who else was at Nike though?
I like KDs though. I like wearing
Kevin
KDs.
Durant was there.
Who the hell wearing some PGs? Let me stop.
I didn't say
Paul
PG.
I didn't say PG. Paul George got
I said KD, not PG.
No. I asked who else is on Nike, and I think Mark was saying PG, and I was like, PG?
Paul George, KD, Bryant was over there at that time.
I was going to say Kobe. I'd assume Kobe was selling more than Kyrie, but I guess not.
I've only seen like 1 or 2 pairs of Kobe shoes that people actually like love for real. I haven't seen too many pairs of Kobe.
And we looking at basketball shoes, Mark. Apparently, Kyrie Irving, and again, the only reason why I know this is because my brother's a sneakerhead. Kyrie Irving is huge in like the skater community. Like they love that dude.
Lifestyle wear and stuff.
Yeah, and they love that dude.
Isn't Giannis with Nike too?
Yeah.
He don't sell like that. His shoes don't sell like that.
Yeah, who wants to wear some Giannis's? Like,
shit, I got a pair of Giannis's right now.
I never tried.
Since we're on that subject, Jamal.
I got a pair of Giannis's. Them hoes is cold.
It's just basketball. Like big men just don't sell shoes like that. Like
Jalen, how many pairs of LeBrons you got?
Oh, I actually don't. I'm not a big sneaker guy. I actually don't have LeBrons. I don't.
Oh, yeah, Vans.
You're a fraud. That's
you wear Vans.
I got shout out Chelsea boots. I got a nice collection of Chelsea boots, man. I can pull them out. Nice collection.
That's cool. We got a few more, man. Oh, look at. I see you. Chill. Superstar. McDo with another one. Superstars are still superstars. Once they stop playing, their brands still sell. Joshua, Ticket got to keep the same energy with Embiid too because Embiid missed 3 whole years at the start of his career. The Murray riding is out of pocket.
He actually missed 2. That's not true.
Yeah, so that means what year is Embiid in now?
He's in 6.
Really, he's in year 4.
No, he's in. He would be in like year. He got drafted in 14. He'd be in like year 8 or
8. So he is in year 8 or 9. Yeah. So year 6. Yeah.
Played 6 seasons.
Mouse drift. In 2017, Kyrie did not make All-NBA, and Murray beats all his stats when comparing both of their playoffs. His finals performances overrates his season.
And I'm glad you brought that up, Mouse drift, because there's no way that you will tell me with a straight face that in 2017, you think Kyrie Irving, you think Isaiah Thomas was a better player than Kyrie Irving?
We're talking about Kyrie being All-NBA. Jamal Murray's never even been an All-Star.
Yeah,
right, he's not been an All-Star.
What kind of point was that?
I said that was a crazy.
And you have to error tax the stats as well. 2017 stats aren't the same as 2023. You'd have to
because the game is different.
Yeah, you'd have to error tax.
Error tax is funny, Mars. Mike,
what is
error
tax? I'm saying, Mars.
Error tax. Yeah.
Okay, I got it. I'm with you, Mars. I was trying to.
Once Mars really put me up on the error tax, and really now I know there's actually a formula for it. Like I'm an error tax. I'm an error tax merchant. I'm an air tax merchant now. Like, I'm riding with air tax. Like,
I've always been an air tax.
You gotta respect the air tax, man.
W basketball when it comes to air tax.
Exactly.
Y'all gotta show me this formula, bro. But we'll get there eventually. Mike,
you don't deserve it. You don't deserve it.
Fans only use that. It's a business when it's the organization. Bring selfish, but if it's a player, then y'all slander them as if these players aren't also entities. Keep it consistent.
You always tell people always say keep it consistent. I don't get that neither, but they always talk about keeping consistent when a lot of this stuff is opinionated, which means that my logic is going to be different than yours. We're not going to agree on everything. That's why you're here.
Yeah, people don't make sense, man. Free Designer became a YouTube member. Appreciate you, brother. Kyrie said his shoes made Nike $2.5 billion from Joel.
I wouldn't fight that. I would not fight that at all.
Probably more than that.
Over 10 years or whatever it is.
Isn't he with that Asian brand now?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he is. No. Isn't he with? I thought he was with the black-owned company. He's with the
I think he's with the Asian
black-owned shoe company.
I believe it's an Asian company because I saw someone tweet about how Kyrie's a hypocrite.
Anta, yeah, it's with Anta. He signs a new deal with Anta.
Is it?
Damn, so Klay Thompson not even their biggest athlete anymore. That's tough.
Yeah.
Yo, Dub, what did you do? Dub, what do you do with people in the chat who, like, let's say you had somebody on your show that came up on your show, you served them, and then they get in the chat and they still consistently run their mouth. They came on your show and you served them, and then they consistently get in the chat and they run their mouth. How do you deal with that?
I usually do a motion. I usually do a motion like this, and I do like this, and I just feel like, just suck it off real quick.
Okay, I was just wondering what it is because I consistently have to listen to. It's really frustrating because imagine you, Dub, with your team with the Miami Heat. Imagine the Miami Heat being in the NBA Finals this season that just passed. They was in Game 7 last year in the Eastern Conference Championship. They was in the NBA Finals 2 years ago. And imagine you consistently saying to me, Jimmy Butler is whack. Jimmy Butler, and this is your crew, by the way. Jimmy Butler is whack. And you consistently have to listen. I got to consistently have to listen to that from you. Then you turn around and they in the NBA Finals this season, and then you say, yo, OG, chill. We win in the NBA championship. So we go from Jimmy Butler being trash to, yo, we win in the NBA championship. How do you deal with yourself like that? I'm trying to make sense of that.
People weird, but I grew up around a family that said I can't control others, so there's no reason to get angry about people I can't control or things I can't control. So as much as I talk to all of these guys, at the end of the day, like it is what it is for me. People going to disagree, so I just need to rock.
Oh, and by the way, the person that I'm talking about, he came on my YouTube live, and I flamed him, like flamed him, and then he turned around and he said, "quote Oh, I was sick that day." I'm sorry, I apologize. He said I was sick that day, but then he'll come here today and he'll continuously say stuff like this. When in reality, a lot of these people, that's why I love how Mars gets in the chat, because a lot of these people are unrecognizable if we don't acknowledge them. Nobody cares about you unless we shout you out. Nobody is listening to you. Nobody is thinking about you. Nobody is talking about you. Nobody listens to you unless we shout you out. And because we, not me, we are the show. You are in the audience.
And
we
no
appreciate
gratitude.
you guys watching the show, though. We appreciate you guys.
Yeah, I appreciate super chats.
I do love it. I do love y'all talking, but no gratitude too, because we put you on these shows, man, and y'all show no types of gratitude.
I'm not gonna lie. There's not many platforms that give the viewers as many opportunities to come to the platform as
none
Players
that I know. None. I
can't
can't
go
go
on 7
on
shows a week where you guys are able to come up. Like that's.
I can't go on First Take on ESPN. I can't go on Undisputed with Shannon and Skip. I can't do that.
Yeah,
shout out to us, man.
Shout out to us, man. There's only like 7 to 8 superstars in the league. Kyrie was never that, and Murray sure isn't going to be that. Let's stop overreacting, please.
Everyone's definition of superstar is different. Yeah.
That's
why I don't care. Like, if you think Kyrie was a superstar, fine. Like, everyone has a different value when it comes to superstars. Right. There's no like definitive. This is what a superstar is. Everyone just has their own.
If your criteria is you have to be, if your criteria is you have to be a number 1 option on a team that can make the finals or win a championship, or that has to win a championship, then yeah, 7 to 8 players.
I just need you to be consistent with whatever your criteria is. Mm-hmm. I didn't like when Ticket had set his criteria. That's why I brought up the LeBron James thing. If you had Jimmy Butler as a superstar at the going into the playoffs, he underperformed, so now he's off the list. Okay, well, you had LeBron James as a superstar in 2011. He goes in the finals and underperforms. How is he still a superstar in 2012, but Jimmy isn't a superstar going into this upcoming season? That's all. Consistency is just all I ask for. That's all I'll be trying to see. Yeah. If you're consistent with your takes, that's fine. But if you're not, then we got an issue.
Not having Jimmy in that top 5, in that superstar list was crazy. That was crazy. Just coming from, I thought he was top 5 in the league.
Hey man, top 5, but not a superstar.
Be like that.
Top 5, but not a superstar. Last super chat of the day. Andrew G. Better hope Chill Tyson don't see him alone. Chill Tyson.
I don't know.
You're a boxer.
He's Mike Tyson.
You're Mike Tyson.
Chill. You know for putting your hands on Cash. You sitting Cash down, chill down.
No, I'm not that way. If I have to defend myself, I will. But I'm not going to start a fight. But do not make me defend myself, because again,
I'm saying if I'm out there in Jersey. And they'd be like, "Oh, I'll come around your people," and they'd be like, "Nah, chill, man. He used to not cast out back in."
I was a ball player. I was a ball player. That's who I was. I was a ball player, but I didn't get pushed around. No, I wasn't. Right. I wasn't a street dude that like that. No, I wasn't like that in the streets. No. Mm-mm.
Word. Well, that's gonna conclude today's episode. Appreciate you guys for joining up. Like the video, subscribe, and we're gonna see y'all tomorrow, bro.
Take it light.
Go ahead, Chill.
Take it light, but take it.
Word. And shout out to Bougie for being a new member, bro. Salute to everybody, man.